or the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
This is ESPN 102.5 The Game. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stowing and Company.
Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game 7. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Welcome in to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here at 102.5, 106.3 The Game. If you're watching on the stream right now, you are seeing something very interesting with this mic.
All I know is Caroline was able to, after the first segment, have it not move for the rest of the show. She found a way. I think that's the way to go. I tried this the other day, Chase. What we're dealing with here, if you're listening on the radio, is we have a loose mic. What do you call this? A crane or whatever holds the mic up in the air? It's got too much WD-40.
We can call it a crane.
What do we call that? Is it called a crane?
Arm.
All
an
I know
arm?
is
An arm.
It's loose. It's like it needs
It's like
surgery.
that because
you got to tighten up.
Yeah, and then I Jimmy rigged it. You see that?
I see that.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
That was the only way we were going to get. We were going to have a successful show the other day.
I mean, the light on this thing doesn't work. I mean, I don't
We got
know.
issues. We got issues.
The suit's going to have some meetings.
Hey man, but you know what? Through it all, we make it work. It's kind of like back in '97, we were, having meetings out of trailers,
Right.
and practicing behind a walk-in clinic, basically hospital. Across from the mall.
I went in those trailers.
Exactly. So hey, we gotta persevere.
Jeff
Gotta
Fisher gave me
persevere.
the grand tour.
It must not been much of a grand.
It wasn't grand. It was not
a
grand.
tour, yes.
Yeah.
Took about 5 minutes.
This is the meeting room. Exit
Trailer
out.
1. Trailer 2. Defensive meeting room.
They all look the same.
The weight room was the most impressive because I'm like, I feel like one of these things is going to tip over if you drop the weight wrong.
It was bad. We would have to ride like our stationary bikes to warm up. We have to ride them in the hallway of the place we were in. It was just, it was it wasn't good.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was truly a trailer park.
Yeah, it was. It truly was. We were when the saying is, started at the bottom. Yeah, we started at the bottom.
Started at the bottom.
Oh,
I remember the
started at the
meals,
bottom.
and the media got in on this, and I loved it. But there was no kitchen or anything. Guy just fired up the grill.
Yeah, fired up the grill
Outside. And you had a little line. You go through. You get your chicken sandwich. You get a couple burgers. Whatever.
We started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now we're here. Literally started from the bottom.
Yep.
Well, you've come a long way.
Yes, we have.
The Titans have come a long way. How about Jonathan Huberdeau getting a new deal with the with the Panthers, with the Calgary Flames after that trade? Looks like 8 years, $10.5 million.
That is exactly what it is. That's a lot of cash, a lot of iron. I think you can make that work even in Canada. I think that can still be satisfactory up there. So I think that's what everybody was wondering off the bat is when they traded for him, they knew he had 1 year left on his deal. Would he commit long term? Well, $10.5 million is good enough for him. And I do think we're going to have to maybe put away for the time being the hoobie-dooby-doo call from Steve Goldstein, the voice of the Florida Panthers, which he gets excited about it because up in Canada, they don't do a whole lot of that. It's like frowned upon, the fun, catchy sayings that you do sometimes. They don't roll up there like that.
No.
They kind of keep it straight. They play it straight. So we'll have to
Why
put
is
that
that?
away.
Is it just because it's Canada?
I think
Traditional?
it's just tradition. It's tradition. I don't know too many guys that go that way. But so Huberdeau, and it is Huberdeau. I checked this. This is one where the national guys get it wrong all the time. It's like Zach Parise. It's never been Zach Parise. All the local announcers, he tells them all, Zach Parise. But that doesn't keep every national guy from saying Parise. I guess it just sounds cooler. It's easier to say Huberdeau, and it looks like Huberdeau. But I remember asking repeatedly, it's Huberdeau? Like you, but that's what it is. It doesn't. It's not like WHO. It's HU, so it looks like Hugh, but it's Huberdeau. So we'll see if that changes, because this is another one that happened a lot in Canada. John Tavares. It's actually Tavares.
Tomato.
Yeah.
It's actually Tavares, but he relented when he got traded to Toronto, and he goes by Tavares. It's just really weird.
I mean, listen, I guess when you make a certain amount of money, you can change it into whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Before it was Terrell, now it's Terrell.
Well, that's another one that I'm still not 100% sure
Terrell.
what it.
No, it's Terrell. I don't know what it is.
GIF or GIF.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it was Willy.
More of a Peter Pan guy myself. But. Anyway.
Yes.
Roger Goodell has picked it on his own, which was probably the right move, but the NFL deciding to appeal it. Now we have another judge that's going to come in here. And like, what do we do if this guy goes, yeah, no, I'm good with 6?
He won't.
No.
Oh, so he went. So they picked a woman and they thought, okay, she's gonna lay down a hammer.
No, well, they jointly picked her.
And then he's
Goodell
gonna lay
picked
down a
this
hammer. So Goodell said, no, I'm gonna pick him this time. So hopefully he lays down a hammer.
But
He's
here's the
gonna come
difference.
back and say 10 games.
Well, the difference is
You
that
think 10?
I think he's gonna come back and say 10 games. I don't think it's gonna be an indefinite suspension.
that will be what we're watching for. But
here's
there is a difference, though. Remember, Robinson was an independent arbiter. Both sides agreed to her. This one is only appointed by Goodell.
So he's probably in Goodell's pocket.
Yes, because Goodell
Yeah,
could have heard
exactly.
it himself. So
Absolutely. So I'm gonna pick this guy because he's more on the line of what I'm thinking.
he's on the home team.
Yeah, so we're gonna pick him, which is it's just like, again, I said this before, it's a big sham, man. That's all it is. So you didn't like what this judge said. A lot of people don't like what the judge, the suspension she recommended for him. So you're gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna get somebody from the home team, and he's more in the line of what I'm thinking. But hey, it's somebody different. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's somebody over here, somebody I picked.
Something tells me the Players Association will make it very known.
Exactly. Like you picked him.
Yeah.
Well,
this is
okay.
Goodell's guy.
Exactly.
This is not our guy.
And here's the other thing. Okay, so you have this process. The PA is going to sue the NFL. There's going to be some sort of injunction that's put in, so he won't be suspended, and he'll start the season. And then what happens if he plays the first 2 games of the season and they come out and say, no, he's going to be suspended the whole season? So does that mean he has to miss the first 2 games of next season?
He could make it messy like that. He definitely has the right to sue the league. The league, however, will sue right back, and they'll go into a court, and they'll have another judge, and the league will argue, look, this is in the collective bargaining agreement. We're just following what the Players Association agreed to,
But
and the league will win.
I don't
so
see-
the question is, how much how much money? I guess Deshaun Watson has a lot of money, but he has paid out I don't know how much in legal fees to this point. Is it worth it? I mean, is it worth it to try to fight that battle?
I mean, if it's just a year suspension, no. But I think when he added on that indefinite, then you gotta fight it because he can, in theory, he can hold on to it for the next 5 or 6 years and then say, oh, now you can come back in after 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what they're more so fighting is the indefinite. Now, the year suspension, okay, maybe he doesn't want that, but at least he knows after that year I can come back. With an indefinite suspension, it's like even after the year, if Goodell feels if the pressure's still high from the public, he's not going to let you back in. And to me, again, it's spineless. It truly is spineless by him. It's just, dude.
By Goodell?
Yeah, it's just, dude. You make the ruling because essentially that's what you're doing by getting the judge that you wanted. Because the judge y'all both appointed, you didn't like her, a suggestion, so you picked somebody on the home team. You might as well have just said, "Hey, listen, it's a year."
I agree with you on everything you said yesterday and today on the policies and the hypocrisy of it. That it's different standard for owners than it is for play. All of that stuff is true, but I still like the fact that Deshaun Watson is going to be given a bigger penalty because 6 games is just not enough.
What if they come back and say 10? And then what?
Look, I want to be able to watch. I feel okay about someone someday Deshaun Watson is going to play again. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to play again for a long time. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to watch and say, okay, he did something really wrong. Mm-hmm. He paid a price for it. He paid the right price for it. And now I can watch him again. I just think right now 6 games, that would be, if I were a Browns fan, I'd still feel creepy about it. I'd be like, he shouldn't be allowed to play. Not yet. People have a good. I would like to see him take ownership, take responsibility for what he did.
Willie, whatever he did, he can't. From a legal standpoint, he can't. He can't say anything.
I think you're probably right about that, but I think it would help. Plus, he lied to the judge in the hearing. It's pretty clear.
Well, the
he
judge
did not take any owner. He hasn't admitted any wrongdoing at all. That's just, it's very clear that that's not the case.
He had to stick to his, story.
His story is,
whatever his story was, he had to stick to it. And this is what's going to be interesting about this one, because there was only so much that the first judge was able to see. A lot of the women she wasn't able to talk to because they all settled. And she only heard or read the 4 account.
Yeah.
So is he going to see the same thing?
Yes, he has to.
And then base it upon what the NFL has already. Because that's what she did. She just said, listen, my ruling, I think the guy's guilty. But I'm just going by
she
what.
Put it very blatantly.
I'm just going by what y'all been doing.
Right.
This is Abbott and Costello type of thing y'all got going on.
She based her penalty based on the goofy policy that the league had. But as far as what happened and what she thinks happened,
she thinks he did wrong.
She thinks that the league was 100% right in everything. They proved everything they wanted. But to answer your question, yes, this judge from New Jersey, he's or whoever the former attorney general, I guess it's a judge, arbitrate. Well, I don't know what you call him. He can only go by her decision. He can go back through her findings. He can't. They can't bring in 4 other women or something like that or anything from the outside. He can only go based on what was heard in this hearing.
And that's what I'm saying. If he's going on based on what she saw, she read, he's going to see and read the same thing. I don't see how he can give him no more than like 10 games.
Because he works for the league. He works
for the league. Yes,
Goodell's
there you
guy.
go. Handpicked.
All right, coming up next here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, we're going to talk to Lawrence Gowan. He's the co-frontman of the band Styx, and Styx is coming to town here in a few weeks, so he is going to join us. A little change of pace here on a Friday coming up next. But first, Willie, tell us about Loan Pronto.
All right, let's talk Loan Pronto. They have the ability in the next few weeks. You could get this process going today if you're looking for, let's say, look, you got the school year coming up, the fall, you get back into that routine if you've got kids, or, you got the big fall football season going. If you got financial projects you're looking at or financial issues, or maybe you got vacation coming up and you're looking to move some things around, Loan Pronto's formula right now is, look, they've got great rates. They've got great rates. So if you are a homeowner, you're sitting on a pile of cash. So if you're in need of some cash to do some things, maybe it's to reinvest in your home in the month of August or September and put in that outdoor patio, or upgrade your home with a home renovation project. Loan Pronto can do any of that stuff for you. Or maybe you just need some money to pay some bills. Loan Pronto can help you with that. They're rescuing a lot of home buyers and homeowners now with great mortgage rates. 30-year fixed APRs in the 4s, 15-year APRs that start with a 3. So it's all digital, it's fast, virtually zero paperwork, no hassle. Call Loan Pronto right now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
and I-840,
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
there's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
And he has added players that do fit.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams.
This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have 2 choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Blood Assurance, this community's local blood centers, is hiring for several open positions in the Nashville area. Be a part of a company that helps save lives by providing the local hospitals with the much-needed life source of blood. They offer competitive pay, great benefits, paid time off, and retirement benefits. Blood Assurance has a family-friendly environment. Go to bloodassurance.org/careers. Again, that's bloodassurance.org/careers to apply.
Join 102.5 The Game, Brentwood Fire and Police, the Williamson County Sheriff's Department, and the Nolensville Fire and Rescue for the 9th Annual Williamson County Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, Wednesday, August 17th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Brentwood Library on Concord Road. This year's blood drive will be in memory of Williamson County Deputy Chandler Rowe. Support the 9th Annual Williamson County Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, Wednesday, August 17th, sponsored by BL Harbert International.
This is your PBR Minute. Hi, I'm Chase McCabe. Be sure to get tickets to Nashville Stampede Days at Bridgestone Arena coming up August 19th through the 21st. Just go to Ticketmaster.com to purchase today. The Nashville Stampede has opened their season officially and currently finds themselves 5th in the standings with 1 win and 1 loss.
Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here with you. We say hello now to Lawrence Gowan of Styx. Styx going to be in town coming up Monday night playing with REO Speedwagon at Ascend Amphitheater. Lawrence, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. We're playing with REO Speedwagon, and extra special guest Loverboy will be on the show.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Willy, this is up our alley.
Oh, yeah.
This is cutting edge for us because
Hey,
we're all
well,
about this.
I appreciate, Chase, that you like this music because you're a lot younger than me, but this is what I grew up with, these bands right here. This was, Casey Kasem, Top 40 Countdown, American Top 40. You heard all those bands every weekend. That was really good stuff.
Yeah, I saw you guys play probably 5-6 years ago at Bridgestone Arena. It was a fantastic show.
Thank you, Chase. What you guys are saying is that's what I've witnessed from the stage, particularly over the last, I'd say, 15 years, that the audience, funny enough, the audience is skewing younger, not older. So you can figure that one out in your in your graphics, however you like. But that is the interesting thing is that classic rock is being discovered more and more by younger people who now see it as concurrent with their own time in the planet. And they see themselves in the songs and the little narratives and the melodies are stuck in their heads as those who grew up with it.
So why do you think, though, expand upon that a little bit, or why you think that is, that your music and a lot of bands from your era, it goes from generation to generation? Because, I mean, like you said, that's what I grew up on. My parents obviously listen to a lot of this music, and so that certainly helped it. But I still do. Like it's what I prefer is classic rock, as you said. So why do you think it's able to have that sustainability?
Well, obviously you have very good taste, but apart from that, I think that as the musicologist, I'll put that hat on for a second. I think the first half of the 20th century was basically defined by jazz and American music, let's call that. But the second half is that it's indisputable that rock music and classic rock, being at the pinnacle of when it was at its most successful, it was the great musical statement of the last half of that century, and it's just spilled over. Just as we still have jazz fans and we have, classical music fans and all that sort of thing, I think it's spilled over. And it shouldn't have been such a great surprise to us, but we always saw it as being, a temporary music. It fell under the category of being pop, so it was disposable, etc. That we thought at the time. But as it turns out, the melodies and the lyrics to those songs have just made it through. The last show I went to before the pandemic was Elton John, and behind me was a whole row of people who definitely were under 20 years of age, and they knew the words to every single song. And I'm thinking, holy shit, in 1973, I think it was, I saw the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour. Here I am, nearly half a century later, seeing Farewell Yellow Brick Road, and there are people behind me who I was probably sitting with their grandparents, when I was 14 or 15, and they are as into the music as I am. They're jumping up and down I just thought, well, this is a phenomenal testament to that, to the lasting power of this music.
We're talking to Lawrence Gowan. He is with the group Styx, and they are going to be performing on Monday at Ascend Amphitheater. And Lawrence, it's been fun to watch Tommy Shaw and his ties to Nashville now, and I'll give you one in particular. Yeah. You being from Canada, I think you could probably appreciate this. The Stanley Cup Finals were in Nashville in 2017, and they had the in-between period entertainment, and Tommy Shaw jumped up on the band stage and started playing. It was just fantastic. It was already electric awesome for the game, but, I mean, it was it just kept the energy sustained throughout the whole intermission. It was fantastic.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. There have been very few occasions where there have been a few occasions where I've been a little bit jealous of Tommy, but I was absolutely green sitting in Toronto because in Canada it's mandatory that we watch every Stanley Cup playoff game.
Oh yes,
and by government. And I was watching that game, and of course I got video of it, etc. And I was just like, oh, my God, this guy gets to do this at a Stanley Cup playoff game. The only playoff game I ever got to, because tickets in Canada are basically, you'd have to take a mortgage out to get a ticket to a Stanley Cup game. I'm just thinking, well, he got to go to this game, play it as a gig, and see it for free. And the only time I ever went to a game, I think I paid something like close to $1,000 for a scalper ticket. and believe me, I didn't get to play or anything like that. There were no accolades that went along with it. So, that was a great thing, and I thought Nashville did really tremendously well in that. They did great to get to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, the physical feat of that is just astounding. Anyway,
yeah, we're hoping that
rock, but not quite.
Yeah, we're hoping to recreate that someday. So if that happens, I think we need to get you down here with Tommy. We'll make that happen. We'll find a way to get you ticket, and you will not have to pay $1,000. I promise you.
Please don't.
You will not do
don't
that.
Put me through, don't put me through that again.
Okay.
That's cruel.
Well, tell us this, because this is always something that we always laugh about when we're go to shows and things like that. But how you come together, because I know you got new material with Styx, but how you balance working that in to your audience, but also playing the classics that we all love?
That is a great question. You're never going to go to a Styx show where you don't hear, Blue Collar Man and Come Sail Away and Renegade and, Too Much Time on My Hands and Grand Illusion. Those songs are in every single show, no matter what time of year it is. But we discovered a way, actually in Nashville, we were recording it back in 2015-16. We were recording in Blackbird there, and we wanted to make a record that resonated as strongly as possible with that classic rock era, with the sound of the 70s. Luckily, they had all the analog gear, and we put our cell phones down, and we decided, okay, let's pretend it's 1979 and make an album that way. to quickly get to how do you wedge a song into the set. Well, the Mission and our latest album, Crash to the Crown, they sound so authentically from that era that we're able to kind of weave them in a very kind of deft way where one kind of transitions into the other. So, for example, we would take in the show right now, we have the opening track of Crash to the Crown, is Fight of Our Lives. That immediately segues straight into Blue Collar Man, and you're into that before you even know it. So we do see, even on the faces of the fans, as if they know this record or they've heard it. Is this from one of the albums that was, one of their more obscure first 5 albums, let's say, before Grand Illusion and Crystal Ball and Pieces of Eight, before those records came out? They kind of sound like that. Also, we're really careful, quite honestly, because we wait until the records had some success before we introduce any new stuff. So, Crash of the Crown, when we started touring again just last year, it entered Billboard's rock album chart at #1. So that gave us a little more confidence that, okay, we can start slipping in little bits of this. And all you need is just a few factions of the audience to suddenly jump up and go, oh, this is new, or I have this record, and suddenly it's more, it catches on with others. So we're kind of clever and sneaky in that way in the same time.
He is Lawrence Gowan of Styx. They will be at Ascend Amphitheater coming up Monday night. REO Speedwagon and special guest Loverboy. You want to get your tickets right now, just go
Another Canadian band there, the Loverboy. That'll be pretty good, right?
Yes, just go to ascendamphitheater.com for tickets.
Yeah, yes, we're right at the quota of Canadians that you're allowed. Yeah.
Hey, we're good with it. Don't worry about that. Lawrence, thanks so much for joining us today. It's good to talk to you, and have some fun Monday night.
Thank you so much, guys. Nice to talk to you, and we're looking forward to it. We love playing at the Ascend, and it's going to be a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, Lawrence. Lawrence Gowan of Styx joining us here on the show. And look, Ascend is a great venue.
It's a great
lot
place
of
to
fun.
see a show. Oh, it's awesome. Especially, summer night, lights out, right smack in the middle of downtown. It's a great scene.
I am pretty sure I'm going to be there Monday night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love Styx.
Okay.
So, and I've never seen REO Speedwagon or Loverboy, so I think I'm feeling it.
Oh, yeah. I think people there are going to have a great time.
Little 80s night.
Yes.
Could be fun.
Well, it's 70s and
70s
80s.
and 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that with Tommy Shaw on the band stage. Yeah.
Oh, man,
and
that was
he's
big time.
he's performed a couple times since then.
He has, and he's performed at Brent Peterson's event before. I've seen him at several different charity events. He just pops up there, starts doing his thing. It's awesome.
Well, what was funny is there was one time right before the pandemic, probably, I'm sitting in Barrel House, and the band starts playing and everything, and they're playing Renegade, and I look at Darren and I go, that sounds like Tommy Shaw, and he goes, it is Tommy Shaw. That's why.
Yep.
So, yeah, that definitely happens for sure. But appreciate Lawrence for joining us. Check that show out coming up Monday night. Coming up next, we will get back into some of the Deshaun Watson stuff because I had another thought before Lawrence joined us, so we'll do that coming up next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey, football fans. Dak Prescott here. And I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
Celebrate back-to-school season with Hiller. This month only, get free backyard upgrades when you replace essential home systems like a free Traeger grill with a new whole home generator or a free Yeti cooler with a new tankless water heater. And Hiller's keeping you cool for back-to-school with zero-interest financing for up to 12 months on select new HVAC systems. Visit happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
IndyCar is back in downtown Nashville. Single-day tickets for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, August 5th through the 7th, are on sale. Enjoy action-packed racing, huge concerts, cheering fans, and the biggest party of the year. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is a weekend full of entertainment you don't want to miss. Get tickets at musiccitygp.com. This week's Nashville's best deal is from River Queen Voyages. It's a fun and unique way to cool off in Nashville this summer. Nashville's River Fun Authority gives you the best views of the city with skyline kayaking, river scavenger hunts, and a party pontoon with your own captain. Book your downtown river adventure at riverqueenvoyages.com. And while supplies last, get half off a $50 gift card at thegamenashville.com/deals. That's thegamenashville.com/deals.
Your company's hiring. Who isn't? We would love to show you how to use 1025 The Game to attract and retain employees. We can also help you find the exact person you're looking for with a targeted digital campaign. You can trust our team to help you build your team. Email us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
Man, this is a nice truck.
Yeah, check this out.
What?
I changed it to remind me of my time at sea.
Weren't you in the Air Force?
Yeah, but I really love the ocean.
You could save and get $200 with Navy Federal Credit Union when you refinance your auto loans from another lender, leaving you with extra to spend on other things. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Refinance loans must be at least $5,000 to be eligible for the $200. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Norfolk Tides from Virginia. Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win. Pre-game at 5:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Gary Bettman. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
There we go. Little Sticks bringing us back. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. You know, sometimes the off-the-air conversations really are.
But you cut it off quick.
We were just getting to the good stuff. We were just getting to the good stuff.
I know.
We got to get back.
Sorry, gotta go.
Yeah. Come sail away.
Gotta get back. Yeah, this will be a good show coming up. Randy on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, think about how many genres of music came out of the 70s. Rock and roll, southern rock, the solo acts, all the one-hit wonders, disco, R&B, and you could hear all of them on one station. It was crazy.
Yep. It was very different back then. It was very different.
Well, DJ, I mean, you didn't have playlists. DJs just kind of played whatever you requested or whatever they wanted to play.
Well, the other thing
about it, they had their playlist, but then they kind of leaned on.
But they had their playlist.
Exactly.
Like it's kind of like, all right, Chase is coming up from 10 to midnight, and I would do my thing, and then Willie would be on 12 to 2 , and
he'd do his thing.
Late night action.
I
would come. I'm slow jam. No, I would do late at night because it'd be slow.
Oh
jams.
yeah, that's true. Like,
slow jams. Yeah.
Hey, this is Derek Mason. Here's some Barry White. My darling. Yeah, I can see that. You'd be all about the slow jams.
Yeah.
Oh
Nothing wrong
man,
with that.
I would have liked that show. I would have liked that show. You know, the thing was though, we all, for the most part, we heard the same songs collectively, a lot more so than today, where you can really branch out on your own. You can, you don't have to listen to the same thing everybody else. There's so many options and outlets for different music. But back then, it really was. I mentioned the American Top 40. That was just so, and they still play it now. If you can find like old playlists of the 40 biggest songs from this weekend in 1975 or whatever, but I remember just wanting to know what was number one this week, what moved up. These are all the songs we heard all week, and just you heard them on the weekend. It was just a different time.
Sirius XM, some of the music channels they'll play and you'll hear.
Oh, I love doing that on the weekend.
I've heard Casey Kasem. I'm like, hadn't he been dead for like 10 years?
Yes, but
they still play them.
They play it right through, and without the commercials, which makes it a lot easier. But you just jump in your car, you hear songs 23 through 20. This week in 1970, pick a year.
Casey Kasem was the voice of. Anyone know?
Robin.
Yes. And
Shaggy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
he?
a lot
He
of
did a
the
lot of voices.
Saturday morning cartoons. He was a
Shaggy's
ton
the
of
one I
them.
remember.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Anyway, we're off the rails, so my bad. But Deshaun Watson, this whole thing. So what do you do, Derek, now if you're Kevin Stefanski, the head coach? Are you preparing Jacoby Brissett to be your starter, or are you reading the tea leaves and thinking, all right, I'm probably going to have Watson week 1. So are they splitting reps, or how are you going to handle that?
I think they're splitting reps. You still have to, because you're sort of in this, unknown territory right now. But you still have to prepare your team for the first game of the season. And the way it's looking now, Deshaun Watson will be available for you first game of the season. So you have to prepare. The good part about it is that Jacoby Brissett, he's a veteran. He's a pro. I'm sure, he would not, he's one of those guys that probably, hey, I don't need a whole lot. Just get me some reps with the first team. I don't need, if it's 15 reps, I don't need 10 of them to get myself going. Give me 6 of them, 5, 6 of them, and I'm good. Because I think a lot of his will be in the classroom, just continuing to learn offense. But they have to prepare as if Watson's going to be the quarterback, because this is not I don't think this thing is going to end. I would be surprised. Let's say that. I would be surprised if this thing ended before the season started. Like, we came down with a verdict, he's gone for the season or 10 games or whatever before the season starts. It may go into the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season before they come up with any decision.
Have they had have they posted when this next chapter is going to happen, when he's going to hear the case? It did take a while in the summer. Remember, they had all of the testimony in front of Sue Robinson. I forget what the date was, but it was just took until last week. It was June or something, I think, when they started hearing that, and it took all the way up until last week before they posted the findings. So it could take a while. I don't know, but if I'm the Browns, I kind of want to know the timetable, because, as you said, then only after the decision's made will they decide, do they want to take it another step and sue the league?
There is no timeline for Harvey.
No timeline.
Yeah.
So
it's just like it's just like up in the air.
Yeah.
This judge can go in, and it takes him, because it might take him 3 or 4 weeks to kind of read through the whole thing and kind of figure out, what his punishment could possibly be. And then once he gives his punishment, doesn't the PA has an opportunity to appeal it?
Yeah.
So then now
they would sue the league.
Exactly. So now you're pushing it even further. You're just kicking the can down the street even further.
And so this is all part of the price that the Browns paid by entering into this game with Deshaun Watson. So I don't feel sorry for them, but they are going to have to be thinking about all those details. I also am curious about the other teams in that division. Right? This affects the Ravens. It affects the Steelers, the Bengals. Because they're trying to think, what does this do to the division race?
Well, and think about this. So I pulled the Browns schedule up. The NFL doesn't love drama at all. You know who their week 1 opponent is?
It has to be a divisional game.
No, at Carolina.
Baker Mayfield. Yeah, that was a big. When the day that trade went down, that was quickly pointed out that guess who? Now Baker Mayfield's got to win that job because he's new to the system. You figure he should win that job.
I think he's going to win that job.
But Sam Darnold he does, but he has been in the system. And
but I would say
Baker Mayfield is coming off of labrum, shoulder surgery, so he's not maybe at his best. At least it's worth watching to see how quickly he's thrown into. Eventually, he's going to start. They wouldn't have traded for him if they didn't want him to be the starter. But I wonder how quick he will feel comfortable and ready to play.
Well,
because the drama they got to start against Cleveland, right?
If Deshaun's not the quarterback, and I think they still would be probably picked to win even with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback that first game. because Jacoby Brissett is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Steady.
I mean, he might end up, I don't know them all, but he might be the best backup quarterback in the NFL at this point. So I think Cleveland feels comfortable if they indeed had to, say if they expedited everything and, okay, this is what it is, and he's gone for the season or 10 games, whatever. League appeal it, that goes through very quickly. And, by the first game by the second game, we know he's done. I think Cleveland feels comfortable with what they've done on defense to bolster that defense and what they've done on offense to get more playmakers, that it doesn't all have to be on Jacoby Brissett. Now, will they win the division? I don't know.
Well,
but it still puts them in a good position.
In the first 6 games, let's say he is suspended 6 games, they're at Carolina, which I would probably lean Carolina if it's Baker, just because of the revenge factor and everything. New York Jets in Cleveland, they could beat the Jets. Pittsburgh at home, I have no idea with Pittsburgh because
just don't know.
Is it Mitch Trubisky or is it Kyle Rudolph? I mean, it sounds like Kenny Pickett's going to ride the pine, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
So then they're at the Falcons.
If Trubisky can't win that job, that says a lot about him.
They signed him to win that job.
Yes.
At the Falcons, they're not very good. And then you got the Chargers and the Patriots back to back.
That's when it starts.
Where their test really starts.
I thought about this too. If you've got to know, if you're the Browns, he's not going to get no games.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. So is it better just to start the year with serving some time?
No.
Because I think it is.
No,
because I'd rather have him at the end of the season.
No, you're going to make the same mistake that the Nets made in basketball. They took Kyrie Irving. They said, well, since you can't play at home, we're not going to play you on the road. They should have played him on the road. They'll end up with a better record, and they end up not having to have a play-in to make the playoffs. I think Cleveland's in the same position. If the league has not suspended them, because the league is not going to say, well, you did hold them out 6 games, so we're going to count that for. They're not going to do that. They're going to say that's your choice.
No,
they're going to say
that's
so. Your choice that you held him out. We didn't suspend him. It wasn't concrete yet. So if I'm Cleveland, I'm playing him.
But the problem is, what if he's suspended for the last 6 games and you're in the playoff hunt and then all of a sudden you lose him?
It don't matter because he's going to be suspended anyway.
Well, that's why I think go ahead and start serving.
This ain't
serving your suspension.
this ain't
I don't think time served really works.
Time served. So we're gonna start it from right where
it's going to be 6.
Set out.
It's going to be at least 6 in best case scenario, and it's going to probably be more. So why not just serve?
But league ain't gonna do. They're not gonna do that, Willie. They're just not.
What probably ends up happening is he plays this year and then he's suspended next year.
Possibly, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked by that at all, just because of how slow this stuff is. But we will see.
Never thought about that. The whole year, I could imagine that.
I could see it. Coming up next, I have to step away for suit duty, so I will let. I know the suit's a busy man, but I will let you two take it away and continue to discuss things from Titans training camp. Plus, Kyle Phillips, Titans rookie wide receiver, going to join us when practice is done today around 11:15 or so. So he will call in. Be good to catch up with him here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. High temperatures today in the lower 90s, just like yesterday. Heat index values in the mid-90s this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening, but no severe weather expected in our forecast going into the weekend.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
When looking for quality recreational sports in Nashville, look no further than Mid-State Sports. With over 25,000 participants, they're one of the largest sports organizations in the Southeast. Fall registration is now open for youth soccer for boys and girls aged 3 to 13. Registration is also open for adult sports like softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. For a full list of youth and adult sports leagues, check out midstatesports.com.
With your home value up again, you are sitting on a pile of money. So don't let it sit there. Use it. Willy Donick here for my friends once again at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now to pay off all your credit cards or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home. And the payments are crazy low. Think what you could do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they can probably even waive the appraisal. Don't just let all that home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get the cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
I'm Cindy Mae Johnson from Mountaintop Media in the beautiful Appalachian Mountains of eastern Kentucky, where flash floods have taken lives and destroyed homes. The news can never accurately convey how much help is needed. If you're willing or able to help, even a little, please donate to the East Kentucky Dream Center on Venmo or at ekdc.info. Thank you for your prayers and support.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexroad.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
A lot of it is similar because I was fortunate. I was able to spend time with him on multiple occasions prior to the draft. And so the human being, the guy, is something that is really unique in the sense of his humility, his caring about his teammates, how he loves his teammates, how he loves life, and his approach. I had a feeling he would be able to grasp a lot of information and be able to retain that, but it's been even better. And now it's just really tying it all together. We really have to tie the lower half of our body to what our mind's telling us to do, and being able to redirect our eyes with our feet, which we work on daily out here with different drills. And it's just a repetition-based theme that, is a 1% better theme. There's no rush on it. We're just working on it, and his patience, as he's learning to be more patient with the process of it, he's just going to probably, daily improvement will be there.
That's Pat O'Hara, the quarterbacks coach for the Titans, talking about Malik Willis. And I think there's some really good things in there, Derek, about the process that you go through when you're trying to develop a quarterback. And I think what I like when I hear that stuff is they've got time. They know they've got time. You see so many quarterbacks that are rushed, especially when they're we just played Rush. That was Tom Sawyer. I didn't mean to, no pun intended. But, when you were drafted in the first round, the very first day of training camp, everybody is going to say what? Hey, when is so-and-so ready? Is he ready? Our first-round pick. Is he ready? Is he going to be starting week 1? Is he the week 1 starter? Yeah, and you can't help that. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now. Mm-hmm. Malik Willis easily could have been drafted in the first round. People thought he might go as high as, top 10 picks. He didn't. So now he's a third-round pick. To me, based on the offense he ran in college, the level he played in college, and how much adjusting he's got to do, that might end up being the best thing for him, because now there is not the narrative of how soon will this guy be ready to play. You can tell Pat O'Hara talking about, let's just get 1% better every day. Let's work on our footwork. Let's work on working the lower half of your body, connect it with the upper half of your body. We were talking about Chigakonkwo yesterday, and we were talking about processing the plays to where once the play is called, you don't even want to have to think about it. Your body knows exactly what to do on the play.
Exactly.
You're not processing information. What's the play? What route am I running here? What defense? The quarterback's got 3 times the amount of information he's got to process. Plus, he's working on all of the footwork, working under center. There's so many things that he has got to adjust to. And I just like that there's no timetable right now. I think that's going to help him, and it helps Pat O'Hara, I think, just work on the little things every day.
Well, when coaches, this is what I've understood and sort of learned. When coaches start the conversation off with other things beside football, like Pat O'Hara did, that means that, he's trying to deflect from, the quarterback, the actual quarterback play. And then, the lower half needs to catch up with the mind and the 1% better. This kid is no way near ready to start nor to be the backup. He hasn't shown enough, and rightfully, he's a rookie. He hadn't shown enough that they feel comfortable at putting him in if something happens to Ryan Tannehill. If they had to make a decision today and Ryan wasn't the quarterback, they would bring another veteran in, possibly to start, because they don't want Woodside to start either, I don't think.
That would be – I don't even know who's on the street right now ready to take that phone call.
They will probably have to make a trade for a backup quarterback. This kid is this young man, excuse me. Well, heck, he's young enough to be my son. That's saying something. But he's just not ready yet. And, a part of it is the college that he went to. They just didn't prepare him to be ready for the NFL. They prepared him to win football games for Liberty. That's it. They didn't prepare him to be a NFL ready quarterback. Now, because of his ability, to play the game, like, some of the things he can do, the potential, that got him drafted in the first round, meaning in the third round. But some said he had first round talent.
Yes.
But the Titans know this kid is not ready at all. And the more you ask about him, I think the more they're going to try to get away from what's actually happening on the field. And it's smart of them.
Yes.
Because –
and it's the best thing for Malik Willis.
Absolutely. Like, listen, we're going to bring up that your young man, he's in here early, he leaves late. He's a great teammate. He can be a potential leader. He loves his teammates. He's welcoming. He's doing the things that he needs to do as a pro to help him on the field. But they're not going to actually talk about really what he's doing on the field, because of what he's doing on the field, it hasn't advanced far enough, because they hadn't been in camp long enough. But it hasn't advanced far enough for me to come here. I talked about him on Monday. You want me to talk about him on Wednesday, and then again on Friday morning. There's nothing really I can tell you, because he has not gotten better And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying he has not gotten better to a point where I can sit here and say, this is what he's doing. And wow, from Monday to Friday, it is a drastic change.
And that's what I don't know what everybody's expectation level was. I know what mine was. I wasn't expecting to hear him being the talk of camp. Hey, this is he's picked this up.
But some people thought that would be the case.
It's easy to fall into that trap, I think, sometimes, because we did hear a lot more about him before the draft. But whether he was drafted in the first or the third round would not have changed anything in terms of his readiness. So to me, it's probably a good thing that he's a third-round pick. They had the luxury of bringing him along really slow, and I think he's going to end up in the long run better because of it, because he won't be able to skip any steps. They won't rush him into the fray. I think they have the right mindset with him, and I like what I'm hearing about his makeup. The word that jumped out to me was humility.
Exactly.
I think some people, and it could be a good thing, you come in and you're cocky, you just believe you should be ready even though you're not. But I like the fact that it doesn't mean he's not confident at all, but the humility of coming in and saying, okay, I know I've got to learn this stuff, and I'm going to work every day to learn every detail that I've got to learn. I'm going to get 1% better every day. I think he's on a good path.
Well, I mean, I saw
he's just not there right now.
He's not there now. And watching him in 2 minutes yesterday showed me that he is not there. He is nowhere near ready to play. And this is why it's become such a big thing, because of the way Ryan Tannehill played during the season and then more importantly in the playoffs. Had Ryan Tannehill played really good in the season and it wasn't his reason why the Titans lost in the playoff, this wouldn't be a big issue. Like drafting Malik in the third round wouldn't be a big issue, because there would be nothing there. They would be saying, hey, listen, Ryan only got 2 years left on his contract, so they're trying to look forward to the future by drafting this young guy. He won't be ready this year. He won't be ready next year. But he's a guy that they're going to groom and hope he could become the starter. Well, because of Ryan's play, it almost accelerated your thought process on Willis. Not theirs, but everybody else's. They knew when they drafted him, this is what the course of action is going to be. Well, the fans and everyone else, because of what they saw last of Ryan Tannehill, they quickly said, this is the guy. And they sort of expedited the expectations of him, which was wrong.
Yeah, and that's why I think the team is doing the right thing, too, in how they are handling those questions, which is kind of where we started. Like you paid that Pat O'Hara. He knows, along with Mike Vrabel, with Todd Downing, this is the way we need to talk about this, because everybody's going to see he's running some drills right now. He's going to struggle some. That's okay. The question is, how quickly can he learn from this and keep getting better? If he shows signs of improvement, that's a good thing. And when the season starts, hopefully, he won't be in the spotlight as much. Hopefully he can continue to get better behind the scenes, because it won't be out in front of everybody. So this will be an interesting few weeks, of course, for Malik Willis. When we come back, we'll have more. We'll get the suit back with us. Stay tuned. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game.
You watch The Game.
Line to left, coming on Newstrom. Base hit, sounds win.
We talk The Game.
But they knew he'd be really good. Well, if they don't make that move, they don't win those championships.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
For the first time in history, the FedEx Cup playoffs will begin at TPC Southwind, August 10th through 14th. Don't miss your chance to watch the top 125 players from the FedEx Cup standings compete for the PGA Tour's ultimate prize, the FedEx Cup. Only 70 players will make it through Memphis and on to the next round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Daily grounds and upgraded ticket options are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
For the love of the climb, for the love of the fall, for the love of knowing your kids' laughter is the sweetest music there is, for the love of Tennessee, travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
If you missed the latest from Robbie and Rex Road.
And I don't remember where I put the Titans, but certainly I didn't have them out of, like, I had them maybe like, you know.
You'd have an 18?
10 or 11. Yeah, no. I mean, it wasn't like super high, but I think it was probably around 10, 11. But I think they will be picked by us and by everybody. Well, not everybody, but the consensus, majority opinion will be that the Titans are not going to make the playoffs this year. For the 1 seed, that brings back its quarterback, brings back its star running back, brings back an entire defense that was really good at the end of the year. Lost
the
A.J.
NFL
Brown.
Coach of the Year.
Yeah, has the NFL Coach of the Year. Played the most players in the history of the NFL on the way to still getting the 1 seed. And yet, now A.J. Brown definitely. That one I understand. Like, the A.J. Brown aspect of it, I get that. You know, people think of the Titans, they think of Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. Well, there's half of that's gone.
Right.
But still, the 1 seed.
Tune in Robbie and Rex with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on ESPN, 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV,
you can't be all work and not play.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stony Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome Game 7. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Hour number 2 of Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game, 106.3 Game Nashville app. We're going to hear from Mike Vrabel when he takes the podium a little bit later this hour. The Titans are finishing up their practice. We'll hear from Kyle Phillips, the rookie wide receiver who's been taking part and doing some nice things. We'll check in on his progress. But it is training camp, D-Mase. And by the way, we are just having some good times here in the studio because we hit a good throwback game that's right up D-Mase and I's alley. 1990, Celtics-Knicks at the Boston Garden. First round game 5. Series tied 2-2. An aging Larry Bird, an aging DJ and Parrish and McHale. They're still playing. It's 1990.
Yes.
They're still together.
But this is when I think they
was that Gerald Wilkins that just shot for the Knicks? I think it was.
Yeah, I think Boston ended up losing this series. This is when the Knicks lost, I think. Is this the year the Knicks lost in a conference championship game?
I think this is pre-Pat Riley Knicks. I think they're still – Rick Pitino had left to go to Kentucky, and I don't even know who took over for him. So this is a weird era. There's Charles Oakley here, but it's not quite the full throttle.
Oh,
there's Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis.
Oh, the late Reggie Lewis.
Yeah, so this is yes.
It's kind of a weird thing. It's like before the Knicks got really good a couple years later, and it's after the Celtics' best of the 80s, but they're still kind of together. Is this when your bad boys were taking center stage here?
Hey,
that's when they were the champs.
Coming up, yeah.
So one of these, whoever wins this game is going down at the hands of the Pistons.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
It don't matter.
You know what's funny, though? It's training camp time. There was a funny clip that hit, and I wanted to ask D-Mase about this. The Buffalo Bills had their rookie skit thing, you know, and we've had the ability as just regular fans to see some of this because Hard Knocks always does this, right? They have a version of it when the rookies have to put on their skit competition. So the Bills rookies, and this looked like a group of offensive linemen, I think. They went shirtless with the short shorts. It looked like my coaches in the 80s. They had kind of the coaching, kind of a short short.
Yeah, the coach's shorts. I think that's what they're going back to now.
Is it coming back around?
Yeah, I think it's coming back around.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is surprising. But they decided to sing, and they went with some old school tunes here. They went with the Backstreet Boys.
Desire, believe when I say I want it that way. But we are 2 worlds apart. Oh!
I heard some talent in there. There's a couple of those guys could actually try to carry a tune. There was 4 of them. They traded off lines, so they didn't have to memorize all the words of the song. Like one guy was actually trying to sing a little bit. The other guys were hopeless, but that's kind of what makes it great.
And listen, you can't try to sing in situations like this because you're in a no-win situation. I mean, because if you sing really good, then the guys are going to make you sing even more, you know. Yeah. But if you're horrible, guys just going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
But this is one of those camaraderie builders, and it's fun, man. It's fun to, sort of kind of break up the monotony of training camp. They don't have 2-a-days anymore, so I don't know what you're breaking up, really. When we had 2-a-days, we needed something in the middle to kind of break everything up and get everybody to laugh. But like I said, it's a camaraderie builder. You get to have fun. And some guys do have talent. Like you get guys up there and they do a specific thing. I always remember, and it didn't happen to us, but I always remember the one they had on Hard Knocks when the guy did the Shannon Sharp whole deal, and it sounds just like Shannon Sharp.
That can bring the house down when you can mimic somebody everybody knows, like one of your own coaches or a famous announcer like Shannon Sharp or a famous player.
Absolutely.
That is a big time move.
But those things were fun, man. And carrying pads, for players. We would, back in the old days, we would duct tape somebody to the goal post.
I saw that happen one time.
And guys would just pour Gatorade on it. It was the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. Or the worst, it was bad, but it wasn't bad. The worst is the rookies. And you knew it was coming, but you didn't know when it was coming. The rookies would, we'd get to camp, going through camp or whatnot. Rookies would go out, and there would be somebody waiting while everybody else. They would take all of our clothes that we wore that day to practice, and they would put it all in a cold tub. So you come back, and they wouldn't throw your cell phone or anything, money. They'd take all that stuff out, but they'd put all your clothes and your shoes in the cold tub.
Oh, nice.
You come back in, you have nothing really, but then you got to go and get some shorts from the equipment guy. It was just the funniest thing, man. That stuff like that you enjoy,
Well,
I didn't
that's
enjoy
the
the
key,
other stuff.
I think, because it can get mean sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't like the
mean-spirited
stuff.
But if it's all in fun, that's the best. That does bring a team together. I think if it's done right. Did you ever have to sing with rookies?
I forgot what I had to do, and I think it was they didn't cut my hair because I didn't have any hair, and I was like, y'all damn sure ain't cutting my eyebrows. That's one thing I ain't having. You ain't cutting my eyebrows and my mustache. I do whatever else. That you're not. I'm just not. Some guys gave in. I'm like, I'm not doing. Y'all better pick something else. But I've seen guys get their hair cut, guys get an eyebrow shaved off. I thought that may have been a little bit too much. But some guys, they accepted it and, they were cool with it. They just cut the other eyebrow off too. And because they're in camp, they figure it's going to grow back anyway. I don't
just
care.
go with it.
I'm not going to see nobody for the next 2.5 weeks.
Now, there's another situation that came up in camp. There's a guy for the Saints. We were just laughing about this. They were talking about it on ESPN. He's had like 3 – I think it's the first-round pick, the offensive lineman. right? I
Yeah,
forget his name.
is it Penning?
Yeah,
Pennington?
yeah. It's Penning. He's been fighting for 3 days in a row.
He said
But this was his rep. This was his rep when they drafted him. How physical and nasty he was as an offensive lineman. So he's just status quo. Y'all knew what y'all were drafting, and I'm that person.
So this was the discussion among the panel for ESPN, and so you can weigh in on this. If a guy is out of line, and that's 3 days in a row, like I'm sure coaches are kind of chuckling a little bit. Okay, like we got to rein this guy in a little bit, but we like the attitude, we like the toughness, but we can't be first and 25 every other play. But one guy suggested that your car could come up missing the next day.
Yeah, your car could end up parked a half a mile away.
Now, did you ever did anybody ever have like a saran wrap thing, or you fill up? What's the other thing? You open up the car and you put a bunch of.
No, we didn't have. They just started doing that, and I've seen a few situations where the guy opens up the door and there's a whole bunch of Skittles or just a whole bunch of crazy stuff in your car, and I'm like, man, that's.
Have y'all ever seen the Post-it notes? Like where
the
you go
Post-it
to the store
notes
and you just completely lay over the car with Post-it notes.
I mean, like
that was something that I saw at my high school when I was a senior.
Like I couldn't do that because it takes a lot to put all those Post-it notes on somebody's car.
But is it done sometimes to send a message to a guy? Look, I know you want to be tough and everything, but you're on a team here. You're beating up your own guys. Like he was throwing punches.
Yeah,
at
and
guys.
that's when the head coach has to step in. That's when the head coach has to say, "Listen, enough is enough. I understand playing to the whistle, but when you play after the whistle, that's going to cost us as a team. This is not a, who's the strongest or who's the meanest. It's we're trying to work together as a team. We're making each other better. And you, after the whistle's blown in the play, and you continue to go at your own player, that makes no sense. Because what you do on a practice field sometimes is what you're going to do in a game. And the minute you get called for your first 15-yard penalty, and then the second one, you're not playing no more. I got to take you out because now you're hurting the team. That's why coach kicked him out of practice. Like, this is what's going to happen to you in the game. They're going to kick you out, and that hurts us. So we're going to show you in practice where it doesn't hurt us. And you as a professional, again, you can play until the whistle. We had somebody, John Runyon, one of the nastiest offensive linemen I've been around. He played until the whistle. And then he walked away. But he got his punches and everything in during the whistle. But then once he heard that whistle, all right, I'm walking toward back to the huddle. All of our offensive linemen were that way. You can't have an offensive lineman consistently play after the whistle because ultimately that not only hurts you, but it hurts the team.
When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more. Remember, we'll hear from Mike Vrabel when he takes the podium post-practice. We'll also talk to Kyle Phillips this hour. So stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming on 102.5 The Game and 106.3 and the Game Nashville app.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a beach day. And with 35 miles of pristine, sugary white sand, it's easy to see why. So let's grab the beach bag, the beach ball, and the boogie board. Let's pack the suits, the sunscreen, and the sunglasses. Take a dip in the emerald green waters of the Gulf. And then take in a breathtaking sunset at the end of the day. So let's make a beeline to the beach. And let's shine. Plan your next getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
I had low back pain that was due to herniated discs.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, another satisfied patient who found regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I have had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Before Dr. Garzone found QC Kinetics, he was looking at all the old school pain treatments.
It was recommended that I have steroid injections done, but then unfortunately my insurance company said that I would have to do 3 months of physical therapy first, and I needed to get better quickly.
With QC Kinetics, the doctor got lasting relief with no downtime.
I didn't have to take any medications during my treatment. I avoided surgery, and I am now pain-free.
Don't live with chronic pain, and don't go under the knife. Call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
We're Saia LTL Freight. For nearly a century, our team has been committed to driving business forward. From Lady Liberty to the Golden Gate, Superstore to Corner Store. We go that extra mile, expanding our team to better serve you. So trust that when you partner with Saia, we take every delivery personally. Visit Saia.com for all your shipping needs. That's SAIA.com.
Like magic, brought to you by Mr. Clean. Summertime is grillin' time, but maybe your grill could use a little scrub before firing up the next barbecue. Not to worry, that burnt-on food and greasy grill mess is no match for the legendary Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Just wet, squeeze, and erase. You'll see that mess didn't stand a chance against the mighty Mr. Clean. Now give your grill a good rinse and fire it up. Brought to you by Mr. Clean. There's no clean like Mr. Clean.
Now, local businesses can get closer to every customer in their city with fast, affordable shipping. Introducing USPS Connect Local. You want speed? We deliver same or next day. You want savings? We give you supplies at a flat rate. You want less legwork? We do free pickups. Move your local business forward with the United States Postal Service. Let's connect at USPSConnect.com/local. Specific markets, restrictions apply. Same day or next day delivery expected, but not guaranteed with entry close to final destination.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5 The Game. We're still awaiting the return of the suit. That should happen any minute here. Also, we will be hearing from Kyle Phillips, the rookie from UCLA for the Titans, and hearing from Mike Vrabel. Also, we're also awaiting the arbiter's decision on Yakov Trenin. At some point, they are going to make a ruling on what his salary is going to be. I'm sure Yakov is the guy most anxiously awaiting this. The Predators know it is going to be a 2-year deal. The question is, what would they rule? It actually was supposed to come out yesterday. The arbiter asked for an extra day. So it literally could be any minute. But in the meantime, we're just kind of like any day now. What's the ruling? What's taking so long? I don't know what's so complicated based on how quickly they do other ones. They take usually 48 hours, but now they're on day 3 and still no ruling on this. I don't know what's so complicated about his stuff.
I have no idea either. It's not like, he was asking for 10 and the Predators were offering 1.
Yeah, they weren't that far apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
That's how it is, I guess.
So, Kyle Phillips, I'm looking forward to talking to him. I think this is another thing that you have to be careful with, is not to get too excited too quick. But it looks like the things that they thought he could do well, it looks like he's showing that some. The ability to go into the slot and make some plays. What are you seeing when you watch him play? Well, what are the strengths and weaknesses in his game?
He's a guy that I think predominantly is a slot guy. And in this, I would say years ago that wouldn't be good, that you were just, in a box. Like, you can only play the slot, because there are times where, your quickness can be used outside, but because they don't think you're big enough or fast enough, they're not going to put you outside. I can't say that about him. I think his ability to, get in and out of breaks is evident. They like the way he catches the football. He just needs to be, I know they want him to be more consistent. Now that he's moved up and he's shown that he can be that viable option as a slot receiver, now he has to truly get that rapport with Ryan Tannehill that you need as a slot receiver.
Well, speaking of that, let's bring him on. Kyle Phillips has just finished up with his practice for the Titans, the rookie from UCLA, and he joins us here on 102.5 The Game. Kyle, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we've talked to a number of the guys so far, and it seems like the catchphrase, or one of them anyway, during training camp is just stacking the practices, right? Stacking those good days one after another. I'm sure as a rookie, that's what you're trying to do. Try to get a little bit better each day.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you just want to get better and better each day. Keep going forward, taking no steps backwards.
What do you think has been the toughest thing you've experienced so far in these first few days?
I'll probably just say the playbook, really, just the installs we do each day, just adding more and more, and then, just identifying defense, just how they disguise and stuff like that. So that's something we've really been in the meeting room, just, watching film, studying.
We're talking with Kyle Phillips, the Tennessee Titans' 5th-round draft pick this past draft out of UCLA. Now, how much has Robert Woods, because we've heard a lot from the coaches and even Traylon Burks and some of the other wide receivers saying, having Robert Woods in that room, his leadership, what he's been through in his career, the championship he's won. How much has that helped you?
Oh, tremendously. My first day here, it was pretty clear that, he took control of the first OTA practice, and then just in meetings, the standard he sets, and also just how helpful he is. If anyone has a question, he's always open. We ask him, and, he gives us the best advice he has. So it's been tremendous having him in the room.
Now, beside because you said the playbook, that's one thing that you're sort of getting used to. What else has been a adjustment for you beside the playbook?
I'll just say, the defensive disguises, pre-snap, they're showing certain coverage. Looking the ball snap, you look up and, it's a completely different picture. So it's just kind of, being able to identify their disguises and, what they're seeing, what they're truly playing.
Now, Kyle, they have you have been sort of upgraded. Now you are the guy in the middle, the slot guy. What rapport have you built as a rookie with Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, and I just want to be reliable for him, If he needs me to go down and block someone, I'll do that. If it's a mismatch, man-to-man, get the first down, I'll go do that. I just want to be reliable and do anything I can.
Now, I'm sure you played both inside and outside at UCLA. So do you think that helps you being able to be that versatile where, yeah, you got me in the slot, but I can also play the outside as well?
Yeah, definitely. I just feel, the more you can do, the more valuable you are. So, I'm going to learn everything and just, like I said earlier, whatever they need me to do, I'll go out and do.
What did you think, Kyle, this summer? You just left UCLA. You had a great experience in the Pac-12, and then all of a sudden, one day they're moving to the Big Ten. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was pretty shocked, but I'm excited for them. I'm ready to see my boys play in the Big Ten, playing some big games. Hopefully win a lot of games. So I'm real excited, and I'll be tuned in watching them.
Well, from one Big Ten alum to, I can't say you're a Big Ten alum, but it's we'll welcome you in. After about 10 years, nobody will know. But
yeah, I'll be an honorary member.
Exactly. But welcome to the Big Ten, UCLA.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you stay in this area of the country, you could maybe drive to a couple of stadiums and see your team play. If they're playing in Columbus, that's not too far away.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so a little easier than getting out to L.A. for a game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, maybe I'll actually be able to watch them play a couple games.
So what do you think you took out of that? Chip Kelly is a huge name in college football. He's trying to bring that program up to maybe where he had Oregon years and years ago. What are his best attributes? What did you learn from him?
I would say just really just the mental side of football. Just, how he views the game. He views just, some of his chess and just with what he does with an offense. The amount of plays he installs. It was really difficult while I was there, but it helped me tremendously. Coming to that next level. Our playbook was massive. Now I'm coming here, and I feel like I'm able to pick up the playbook a little bit easier now. I feel like just because of 4 years just learning under Coach Kelly.
One of the things that we saw, I was having some fun with Derek because he was once upon a time a rookie in the league it was the Oilers back then, the Tennessee Oilers, and not the Titans. But we saw the clip of the Buffalo Bills rookie offensive lineman singing. Kyle, did that? I don't know if you've seen that this morning. I don't know if you've had to perform.
Yeah.
Have you had to do that yet?
Yeah, actually, in that video was one of my teammates, Alec Anderson from UCLA. But so we've been having to do stuff, and I actually did a magic trick, so that was mine.
Okay, so had you grown up with that? Did you have to learn on the spot there, or did you have some experience with that, the magic tricks?
So it was actually about a year ago. One of my buddies showed me, and it absolutely blew my mind. So I was like, man, you got to teach me. And so, I've kind of had it in my back pocket the last couple of years, and felt like this was the perfect opportunity to pull it out. So, I did it, and the guys loved it.
Now, coming into camp, Kyle, we'll talk with Kyle Phillips, Tennessee Titans, fifth-round receiver out of UCLA. Coming into the season, there was a question mark with your group. And a lot of it had to do with, experience, new guys on the team, whether it's Robert Woods, Traylon Burks, yourself. And the only returning guy truly with any experience was Nick Westbrook-Akina. How has that room been for you, and how have you guys gelled and got better?
Yeah, no, like you said, we never really bought into any of that noise. Each day we just kind of focused on ourselves, and, we have a real close group, and we have a real high standard in that room. So each and every day we're getting better and better and, holding each other to that standard and just pushing each other to get better and better.
All right, so Kyle, just back to the magic trick just for a second. Did you feel like you executed the trick very well? Because, it's all of that execution. You're live. You're on the spot in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was real nervous. My hands were a little shaky when I was doing it, but execution was perfect. No one caught on to it, and it was good. Wow.
Okay. So I think from here on out, people are going to want to know. They're going to spread the word on how you do this. This is a great move to get out of singing, perform a magic trick.
He might still have to sing. It ain't over with yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I got out of it yet, but at least for right now, I think I'm in the clear.
And how did you evaluate your teammate for the Bills? How do you think he did?
He could have done a little better. His voice is a little scratchy, but overall, I think it's pretty good.
He got through it.
Yeah,
He's famous now, though, because now he's going to live forever because that clip is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, Kyle, thanks a lot for joining us. Good luck the rest of camp here. Continue to stack those good practices, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's the rookie wide receiver, Kyle Phillips of the Tennessee Titans. He's through. He did the magic trick. So maybe
like you said, he's not out of the woods yet. Okay,
so
camp is not over with.
You can't just put that.
You
might need another magic trick.
Exactly.
Okay, so come up with another one. All right, we are going to come back, and when Mike Vrabel takes the podium, we'll hear what he had to say about today's practice as we move forward on this Friday here on 102.5 The Game, 106.3, and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, I'm Ryan Johansson, and this is Smashville.
Back to Johansson, and Johansson tips it in with one hand on the stick.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Invite you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Honey, what's an 8-letter word for difficult to explain?
When we planned on retiring, we never planned on Medicare being so confusing.
What's a 6-letter word for special skills or knowledge?
Fortunately, Farm Bureau Health Plans is an expert on all things Medicare. With 75 years of helping Tennesseans, they helped us understand our Medicare options.
Why are these things so complicated?
Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
This September, the Chainsmokers hit Music City at the Blended Wine and Music Festival. 24 bands, 2 stages, 1 weekend, all under the Nashville skyline. Performances by the Chainsmokers, Loud Luxury, Sick Kick, Fetty Wap, Breland, and more. September 10th and 11th, the ultimate social experience drops in Music City. Enjoy a massive 100-foot wine tent, culinary village, and wellness lounge. Get tickets now at blendedfestival.com.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Somebody Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here on the show, Mike Vrabel has taken the podium post-Titans practice. Let's go out to the park.
Caleb made a nice play. That's going to go on throughout the front, offensive and defensive lines, tight ends and safeties. Those are all the matchups that occur. So that's just one small matchup out here in practice.
How do you feel about Racy and kind of what he's done, seeming to emerge more as an offensive weapon and a deep threat, and kind of what he brings to the offense?
Well, the more, when you take advantage of your opportunities and you start to show up and you make plays, and you know where you're supposed to be, and the quarterback starts to build some trust with you, you get more opportunities. So I think that's a situation of a lot of those things happening for Racy, and we're trying to take advantage of his skill set and the momentum that maybe he's had here the last couple days.
A couple times with Racy, if the balls have come in, he's caught it, juggled it, and then regained control of it. Is that good that he's seeing his way fully through the catch, or would you like to see him catch it cleaner?
I would just like to see him catch it.
What are you doing on the regen days, Mike, and how much do they help maybe guys recover and still get work in?
I mean, those would be questions, I think, for the players to try to see, but typically, Jim, what we try to do is come in, have a meeting, have some sort of situational squad meeting where I'll present, give an opportunity to go into offense and defensive unit meetings, do a lift with the recovery lift that Frank has for him and the strength staff, whatever dynamic warm-up or movement that they have, yoga, lifting, and then we'll try to go back into meetings and then walk through and try to get them out of here and get them on their feet, and obviously, a lot of treatment through those days.
Mike, how do you feel about Ryan's decision-making in this camp, maybe compared to other, what you've seen from him in the past?
I think it's been good. I think he's been pretty decisive. I think he's been very accurate on days. I know, he had the interception yesterday that he tried to, get the ball, layered over Kevin's head. But I would say that all in all, he's been pretty accurate. I really kind of like where his tone is and the way that he's talking to those, skilled players that he's throwing to. It's a big group, so at any snap he could have a different combination of guys, maybe a lot less than what would be in the season. And I hear coaching, I hear him talking, and I hear, so when your quarterback does that or your position players, do that, let's say Kevin Byard or David Long, Jeff, then really we don't need to say anything. And Ryan's, telling those guys where he wants them, and if there's a correction that needs to be made, you see some of those things being done in those group periods.
What do you remember about Richard Seymour as a player, maybe as a teammate, and kind of cool?
I think just from an early, from an early on perspective, he just was so mature. He was just came in and he had just this unbelievable stature, size, build to him, length, and just, but mature. Didn't act like a kid that was, 20 or 21 years old. Powerful, great teammate. It was really, really fun to play with. Was really instrumental in my development there as an outside linebacker, having luxury of playing next to him.
How much is David Long? A good finish for Hassan Haskins on one of his run there. I mean, just what has he done so far in camp that you've seen in a day like this where Derek's not out there?
Yeah, I think just trying to get more decisive in those runs and making sure that those holes or those cuts aren't going to be there forever, and just making sure that that he's coming back and wherever he's cutting, making a good violent cut, getting his pads down, protecting the ball and finishing, on contact.
How much has David Long progressed over the last couple of years as a pass cover guy, enough so that he can stay in the sub packages a lot?
Well, I would just say his overall growth and development since we've got him. He's always been an instinctive player and, always been able to find the ball. I think the understanding of our defense has really improved. Say, hey, listen, get the call, know what you're supposed to do. If you get, when you get lined up in the right spot, then we kind of have to, as coaches, kind of let him go. And if he's not lined up in the right spot, probably, going to need to coach him. But, there's a lot of things that he does that are very instinctive. And, he's not the fastest player, but he challenges guys, and whether that's tight ends or running backs, try to, get his hands on them or however, whatever techniques that's being asked of him.
Long's brand of leadership maybe isn't for everybody, but you see him doing more of it. I've heard and seen him.
I usually always hear him, but I think that, there he brings an energy, that is critical in training camp and practice, and just looking for some consistency that we told him, that's great. Be the same guy every single day, and it's important. And that type of, energy and attitude and leadership is critical, that it stays there each and every day. Thanks, guys. Have a good Friday.
All right, that is Mike Vrabel and his thoughts after practice. Not anything huge coming out of practice today. I would say the biggest thing, and we didn't catch the beginning of it there, but Nicholas Petit-Frere did get first-team reps at right tackle along with Dylan Radins today. So that is a bit of a change of status. I think Radins had sort of the early first-team reps. Now they're working Petit-Frere in there. We had this conversation with Caroline the other day. We played the clip from Trevor Maddich. And Trevor Maddich, of course, was coming at it from afar. He was just trying to interpret what the coaches were saying. So maybe Petit-Frere's had a couple of good days. They reward him here. But according to Mike Vrabel, he did use the word competition. He wanted to put both guys in similar situations so they could make an evaluation. Still a long way to go in camp here, but maybe some hope for the kid from Ohio State.
Well, I mean, there is hope because Radins hasn't, taken hold of the job. He hasn't been a former, second-round draft pick. He hasn't come in and solidified the job the way the Titans wanted him to. They gave him an opportunity briefly last year. It didn't work out. They felt this year coming into camp that he should have been, the headliner at that position, at the right tackle position, but it wasn't the case. So you have to spend another draft pick on a potential starter at right tackle. So this is going to be a saga that continues to go on. The Titans hope they can solidify this position, well before the first game. But I don't know if that's going to be the case.
We'll see. Now, speaking of tackles, Taylor Lewan talking to the media right now. Let's hear from him.
It's just a bloodbath out there when you got the pads on. Usually the first 4 or 5 days of pads are the most difficult, and then usually your body kind of calluses into it, or you kind of get used to the feeling of feeling that way, and then a team comes in. So I just a couple guys on the ground today, and I almost there wasn't anything pressing at all.
Who were the guys you were talking about wanted to help some of the young linemen? Who were the guys that did that for you when you came in the league that you were?
Yeah, I like to say Michael Ruse. I tell this story that
Okay, well, we heard like 3 sentences from Taylor, then we lost the feed. So let's see if that pops back.
Get ready to hear about Michael Roos and helping Taylor Lewan in his rookie year.
We'll see if we can get that back. If we can, we'll go back to Taylor Lewan. But
and Michael was a stalwart at that position.
Oh, man, what a player.
Yeah,
he was.
He was an awesome player. So
now you talked about like just internally filling a spot and having it work out great. Michael Roos was great because he was not a first-round pick. I can't remember if he was second or third round, something like that. But, man, did he take to that position, and he was just a pillar of strength. Not to be confused with Zach Pillar, who was also pretty good. But that's what they're hoping for here. It hasn't taken shape yet. Now, Petit Frere hadn't been there very long. You hope that he keeps improving. Radens has been a guy that's been well discussed. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's go back and see if we can hear a little bit more of Taylor Lewan.
Big guy. Now Brewer is a smaller guy.
Had
Does that change anything at all for you?
29 years of
how things are blocked
tackles
up,
here,
how
and
things are done.
some things yes, some things will be different here. So it's good to watch. Brewer's got a different skill set than Roger. So yeah, some things yes, some things no.
Kind of encouraging Hassan Haskins after a run the other day, just with him trying to fight somebody off of him. What have you seen from him? How much have you taken an interest in him being a Michigan?
To be 100% honest, I don't really notice a whole bunch of guys unless you see like a deep ball or, a guy get a pick or something like that, or a guy winning in a game or a one-on-one. That's really, when you're at this point, like for me, it's extremely important for the cohesiveness and the gel of the offensive line to really start taking strides and from a finish standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint. So, I don't edge too far outside my lane when it comes to Son, though. Michigan guy, he was, I think, the first Michigan guy in here since me. And, you take pride in that. You see what he did against Ohio State. You rooted for him and watched him when he was playing college. And so, you just kind of gas up the boy whenever he was around. He was rocking his little Michigan Block M shorts the other day, and I was pumping him up. So, it's just cool. It's just fun.
On the other hand, with Petit Frere, opposite school, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he like? He seems like such a mature, knowledgeable.
Yeah, like a Rayman vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that how he is in that
Like he's
room?
super intellectual.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does kind of give off that vibe for sure. He smart, he keeps to himself. He asks good questions. He knows the playbook pretty well for a rookie. He's from a maturity standpoint, he seems much more developed than I was at that point. But same goes for Dylan too. I think Dylan was just Midwest type guy. Keeps to himself and intelligent and knew that. And so they seem very similar to me where they were both at their rookie year.
How do they adapt to your kind of style of leadership? Because, look, you're a loud guy. That's who you are,
Yeah,
right?
obnoxious, loud and obnoxious. As you ask, you kind of, when you play football the way I do or how I do from a unique, it's a unique because of being an offensive lineman and how I do run my mouth quite a bit and how I play. And so it can be different for some people, and you check in with dudes, and it's easy to find out what guys need if you ask them what they need. It's not like I'm over there guessing, well, and it seems like Nick needs this, and Dylan needs that, and Ben needs this from me. I literally go and say, hey, do you guys like it when I do X, Y, and Z? Sometimes, most of the time it's yes, and then sometimes like, hey, I actually am better off this way, and I usually try to cater to those guys the best I can, because at the end of the day, like, we all have to work together real well.
At this point, go ahead, JB. I was just going to ask, at this point in camp, a few days in the pads, are you guys getting to the point where you're looking forward to a preseason game or a joint practice?
I don't think you ever look forward to a joint practice. You never look forward to them. Them things it's like a lawless game. You know what I'm saying? You're out there in the Wild West. But, no, I think there's so much to get done. There's so much to do. There's so many things that you can get better at. on a day-to-day basis, especially from a offensive line, the way we play together, the way we finish. This camp is going by very fast, but at the same time, it's like you almost want time to slow down a bit because there's always so much to work on. And being prepared for that week one is so important to not have to take 1, 2, 3, 4 games to kind of get into a groove of things. We need to protect Tannehill now. We need to get Derek yards now, and we need to finish now. So there's a sense of urgency with this offensive line that I'm really proud of. And it seems like guys come out every day to work, and when other guys aren't feeling it, there's guys there to pick them up. So I'm very proud of the way this offensive line is handling themselves.
All right, that's Taylor Lewan. Some good thoughts on him. We'll sort of hash out some of the stuff he said. He had some good one-liners there that we'll break down for you. Chase will rejoin us here in a moment. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 The Game.
And here we go! Every Tuesday at 11.
The Music City Grand Prix is green!
Chase, Willy, and D-Mace will get you set for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix by talking to some of IndyCar's best drivers.
Pleased to be joined by Scott Dixon.
I can't wait, man, and thanks for having me on, and looking forward to getting back to Nashville.
Weekly driver interviews are presented by Social Furniture, where we sell comfort. Shop local, shop social at 5412 Charlotte Avenue, and by the Nashville Sheriff on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. High temperatures today in the lower 90s, just like yesterday. Heat index values in the mid-90s this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening, but no severe weather expected in our forecast going into the weekend.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, homeowners and home buyers, listen up. Loan Pronto has 30-year fixed rates with APRs in the 4s and 15-year loans with APRs that start with 3. Hey, it's Willie Donick. Don't be confused by the media's hype about interest rates. At Loan Pronto, their rates have plummeted recently, and they're currently refinancing homeowners who locked in a 5 or 6% rate. So if you've got a rate over 5%, or if your lender has you pre-approved or locked in at anything 5% or higher, you need to call Loan Pronto now. Not all lender rates are created equal. Loan Pronto's rates are down big time, and you need to take advantage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, getting cash out, or even if you just closed a few weeks ago. Call Loan Pronto today, and you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Loan Pronto can help keep more money in your pocket. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
The train is right on time. Here comes the American Band, Grand Funk Railroad. This Friday night at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. Featuring Don Brewer, Mel Shocker, Bruce Kulick, Max Carl, and Tim Cashin. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Grand Funk Railroad, live.
It's a fact. Guys hate going to the doctor. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues, men from all over Middle Tennessee have been thrilled seeing Dr. Alderson and their providers at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Men all the way up to 95 years old have jump-started their sex drive and energy levels. Lots of men suffer with ED for years, but now they're able to enjoy sex again. Tom from Nashville said, "The Tennessee Men's Clinic has changed my life. I have been able to be intimate with my wife for the first time in 5 years. She thought this problem was because of her, but the pills never worked for me. I had given up until I went to the clinic and realized there were more options for erectile dysfunction. Now I'm happy and my wife is happy. A visit for only $99, and that includes all testing, including a PSA and testosterone test. Give the guys at the clinic a call at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra, results vary.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, Derek Mason hanging out with you. And remember, we are your racing station. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game is the home for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Tune in Sunday at 1 o'clock. You can also join me Saturday from 10 to noon and Sunday morning from at 8 for Chasing Checkers as I preview the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix and get you set for the weekend. So looking forward to that and having that back in our city. You just heard from Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan. And I know the big story of the day, Willie, is Petit Frere. Have we learned how to
I believe
say
it's Frere.
Frere. Petit Frere.
Petit Frere.
Had reps with the first team at right tackle.
I was really we went over this in the last segment some before we started hearing from Taylor Lewan, who I thought provided some good perspective on him as well. But they want to create a competition, it appears. And Mike Vrabel sort of allowed that to be the narrative. He said, we want to put them in similar situations and see how they do. I don't know if it reflects positively on Petit Frere's progress, negatively on Radin's and lack of progress. But I heard a little bit of excitement from Taylor Lewan talking about Petit Frere. And you could tell, being the veteran that he is, he was asked about Petit Frere, being an Ohio State guy, after talking about Hassan Haskins, the Michigan guy, but he sort of rolled it in to wanting to bring Radins into the discussion, so he didn't leave him out. But he used a pretty good line on Petit Frere, just gave us a little window into his makeup. He said he's a reserved guy, but he called it a Rain Man vibe, very cerebral. He said he's picked up a lot of stuff a lot earlier than I did at the beginning of my career. I thought that was a really interesting thing to hear him say, sort of looking back on his rookie year. So he likes what he's seeing there from Petit Frere. It doesn't mean he dislikes Radins, so he wasn't really asked about Radins, but it's intriguing. I'm a little bit more interested in Petit Frere than I was, say, 2 days ago.
Yeah, and I'm curious of where that's going to go. Derek probably remembers this. So, and I just looked it up when this was. So it was
Rain Man was 1988, I think.
That's
Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
good movie.
Pretty good movie.
November 19th, 2015, the day after the Titans lose on Thursday Night Football in Jacksonville, 19-13 to the Jags. It was Mariota versus Blake Bortles in that matchup. Derek and I were doing the show. It was just the two of us. And I will never forget him absolutely going off on Taylor Lewan and calling him out for basically like being immature and trying to get the spotlight, not being an offensive lineman, waving his hair around and everything. And it was a big moment because Taylor heard it. And, a few months or maybe a year later or whatever it was, Taylor came on and they kind of talked about that. Derek, when you see Lewan now, how much have you seen him grow as a player and a leader and mature? He's still outspoken. He's still got his personality. I know all of that is still there, but I feel like he definitely has grown.
Yeah, he has grown a lot. I think he was still in that rookie-ish phase, even though that wasn't his rookie year. I think he, at the time, he was like many young guys. It's just not him. It wasn't just him, but you concentrate on him because he's on the team we're covering. They're living in this social media world. So, the bad thing about football is no one ever sees your face. They see your number, your last name. And there's a few guys that they see their face a lot of time, usually the quarterback and the marquee players. And Taylor was a marquee player, or he was becoming that. But in this era, it's like, I want to be seen. I want everyone to know who I am, what I'm doing. And, for me, it was, I was the get off the lawn guy. Get off my lawn. You young kids back, I remember back in, I was from that from that sort of school of thought. But because to me it was, listen, your play will get you known. You know, I've never seen, you know, Brad Hopkins, Bruce Matthews, Jonathan Ogden, Stepnoski, all these guys that I played with, offensive linemen that I played with, Benji, Long, these guys, I didn't see them operate in that fashion. You know, I saw them grunt and grind it out and just move. And their play got them known. So that's what I was used to. They were the guys that were pulling me back in like, Mason, come on. Quit talking trash. Let's go. I remember Brad Hopkins doing that to me a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on, let's go.
B-Hop a trash talker? Wow, come on.
He would pull me to the side when I get the trash talking. Like, come on, dude, let's go. We got to get back to the huddle. So that's what I was used to. You know, somebody like Jonathan Ogden doing the same thing. So I wasn't used to the offensive lineman. You know, it was almost like this showboat, like, look at me. And that particular moment, I guess, was sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, man, you are a good player, Taylor. They drafted you in the first round. They don't need these antics. They don't need you doing this extra stuff. You know, you're going to be a Pro Bowler, all-pro guy. Let your play, you know, let people recognize you for your play. And I think eventually he got it. Like, you know, he still do some of the antics, but a lot of it has calmed down. He's matured. He understands. He's comfortable with the person he is in the NFL. I think that's the big part.
Well, and look, he you know, he coming off Twitter for the season. I mean, we kind of made fun of it and you know, spoke lightly of it, but I think that's a mature thing to do.
Exactly. Agree. So, I mean, Taylor has grown up a lot. And listen, it doesn't matter what I say. I mean, they recognize it over there at the facility. You know, he got the captain thing stripped away from him many years ago, and I think that humbled him as well. Like, I need to reevaluate some things. And from that point on, you know, he became an all-pro, a Pro Bowler. They gave him a new contract. I mean, his trajectory continued to go up. Now, there's been some setback because of the injury, so we hope that, you know, 2 years removed from the ACL, that he's back to being, you know, the Taylor Lewan that we saw 2 or 3 years ago.
615-737-1025. Our training camp coverage presented by USA Hemp Store and Parman Energy, your one-stop petroleum solution. It's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Heads up. 106.3 FM is a new way to hear 102.5 The Game from downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and on I-24 to Murfreesboro.
Make sure you have that preset on your radio dial.
We're making it even easier to listen to Nashville's best sports talk.
Because we have a great show planned for you today.
Tune in to 106.3.
That's what makes this team better.
And hear the difference.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey folks, Joe Rexroad here, inviting you to start the second half of the baseball season the right way. Turn K's into cash, turn big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. You sign up using promo code Joe102, place your first bet. FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. Here's what I love about FanDuel Sportsbook. It's safe and secure. It's easy to use, very user-friendly, very good for me. You get paid fast, and the promotions are fantastic every day. This is why it's America's #1 sportsbook. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code Joe102, get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. And I don't know, maybe I'm just overreacted to the Juan Soto trade, but I just want to bet on things all around the San Diego Padres these days. If you must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee, first online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Get ready for back to school at Electronic Express. Get an LG 55-inch 4K TV for $399 or a Hot Point washer and dryer pair for $849. Save up to 40% in every department at Electronic Express. Computers, appliances, 4K TVs, housewares, furniture, mattresses, and more. Don't miss out on a Lenovo 2-in-1 computer for $699 or an Elite Gourmet air fryer for just $49. Shop in-store or online with free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Are you sick and tired of constant pain in your knees, hips, or back? Especially this time of the year. You need to be moving pain-free, right? Hey, Willy Donick here for the team at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people every day, giving them lasting pain relief using the latest advances in regenerative medicine. The science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing the damaged tissue. No drugs, no steroids, no surgery. The old remedies for pain are not the only remedies. You need to learn more about how regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can change your life. Make this the last summer you suffer from chronic pain. They've got clinics here and all over America. This is the exciting new, natural way to deal with joint pain. No side effects, no downtime. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey, it's Jared. If you're listening to us on I-24 towards Murfreesboro or I-65 towards Spring Hill, make sure you check out 106.3 for another great way to hear Nashville's best sports talk.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air. The game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
12 o'clock hour, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason with you. Jared Stillman, who is at practice today, is going to join us at 12:15 and give his thoughts on practice today. But the details, Willy, have come out about Kirby Smart's new contract with Georgia. As he signed that 10-year, $112.5 million deal. But, you know, we all like the details. Like, how much is he actually getting a year? What's the structure of it? And so The Athletic has those details.
First of all, the picture on The Athletic of Kirby Smart, just the angle, it's like a picture that's taken, like the guy must have been kneeling down. But the angle that they caught of Kirby Smart, it looks like Alec Baldwin's at the podium there, doesn't it?
It does look like Alec Baldwin.
It kind of looks like Alec Baldwin. That's neither here nor there. That has nothing to do with the contract and what you're asking. But I would be curious if people looked at this picture on The Athletic, did you think that was Alec Baldwin at the podium impersonating Kirby Smart? It's not. It's Kirby Smart, but it looks exactly like Alec Baldwin. Anyway, I was just struck, Derek, about the sheer numbers of this. Like, we know college salaries are going up, but this is a new level. $112.5 million over the next 10 years. And what is increasingly happening, and I'm guessing Jimmy Sexton is behind this. I don't know. I mean, I just always assume that every SEC coach is represented by him. But how about this? If Georgia decides to fire Kirby Smart, and this is similar to what we've seen in a couple other guys. I think Jimbo Fisher has something similar. Kirby Smart would receive 100% of what he's still owed. So, in other words, there's not a buyout. This contract is guaranteed unless he does something crazy to get fired for cause. Yeah, before 2026. That is huge. So, Kirby Smart, when you win a national championship at Georgia, you get paid. This is something that and so now, if it's possible, you even have higher expectations now that you've won it. But it kind of falls in line with what we see every year. There's more chips pushed to the table, In the SEC, it's basically we're going to pay more, and because we're paying more, we need to win. And the math just doesn't work. So all of these schools that do this, they pay huge amounts of dollars, increasingly so every year for the coach, the facilities, all of that stuff, and they expect to win because of it, and not everybody can win. So that is what happens. That's life in the SEC. So we're going to watch the fallout, but the stakes are even higher now.
Well, that's why this NIL deal was so critical. And I think it helps coaches like Kirby Smart that is getting, $110 million no matter what, unless he does something unethical. Then they have grounds to terminate the whole contract. But I think this is the way that the NIL helps, because you pay Kirby all this money, and what is Kirby going to say? He's, listen, I can recruit. I'm one of the best recruiters out there. I put together a good team of recruits, so I can do the talking. But y'all got to help seal the deal, with the money. So, if you're giving me this money and it's basically guaranteed to me, you got to help justify why you gave me the money. So you got to help me go out here and get these players from an NIL standpoint. So y'all better ante up all y'all money, because it's legal now. Y'all need to ante up all y'all money. And when we're ready to go get these guys, y'all need to be offering more than what Alabama's offering, or Auburn.
It's staggering.
Or Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. You have to.
It's staggering to think about that, because now you're paying coaches more than you've ever paid them. You still need to raise money to build the best facilities, and now you've got to raise money for the players.
But doesn't that tell you there's a lot of money out there, and they had the audacity to make it this hard for these men and women to profit off of their name, image, and likeness?
At the top, that's for sure.
How arrogant and just greedy can you be?
Yeah, but does that really surprise you, though?
It doesn't, but I'm just saying, looking at the big picture now, there's a lot of money out there.
There's definitely a lot of money right now. I do wonder how sustainable it is year after year after year, because this is a new thing, that NIL. It's still new. And I would say that only the top level teams, and it might end up being only the top two leagues, can really compete on that level. But we are, again, pushing the limits, pushing the ceiling of how much money is out there. Like you said, who's paying all this money? It's unbelievable.
Here's my question for you, Derek. Why the hell are you sitting here in a radio studio and not get one of these coaching jobs? I mean, dude, just coach for 2 years, get fired, and get the buyout.
Yeah, get the buyout, man. That's not my world, man.
I don't know, but Eddie's doing it and Deion's doing it. I mean,
that's them, man. I can't. It's when I see. Here's the thing with me in football. Football was never my first love. It just wasn't. I did it because I had older brothers, and they'll tell you the story. I didn't want to play. I ran away from it. You ask them, I ran away from all the way up until my junior year in high school. I didn't want to play. Did I have the ability to play at a high level? Yeah, but I just didn't want to. So I look at football when I was in it, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I was blessed to play a game. But I'm out of it. I love talking about it. Yeah. I love watching it. Enjoy watching it, coming on the radio with you guys and talking about it. That's probably, and I will help out if guys need it, but that's the extent of it. Because, man, it takes years off your life, man, and I'm trying to live in a space where I'm stress-free right now.
I feel you.
And that is not an environment that's going to, people don't go into a coaching and say, man, I'm doing this because there's no stress. They're not doing it because of that.
I mean, look, you look at this picture of Kirby Smart, and then I remember what Kirby looked like a few years ago when he came to Sports Fest.
Now he looks
DC.
He looks more like Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like a spring chicken.
You do age faster. It's very easy to see with the coaches, especially the head football and basketball coaches, it's a
there's
noticeable.
a lot of expectation.
I'm the head coach.
Since
now.
you
Look at my
became the
beard.
suit, there's definitely more salt.
More gray.
Look
There's
at the
a little bit more gray.
It's happened at a higher rate. There's a lot
and
more
you don't
salt.
shave as much as you used to.
No, I don't. I just I don't care anymore. I'm done.
Like I got too much to do.
Yeah,
do we need to hire a stylist?
Probably.
To help the suit, just to keep a refined look.
It's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, you're the suit. You can suggest that, man.
We need a stylist for me. Keep my hair nice and the beard.
Get that in the budget.
I mean, Kirby's. I think after winning a championship, and I think this was years in the making for Kirby Smart, because it's not like, oh, Georgia just became a good team and they just won a championship and it came out of nowhere. No, this program has always been a relevant program. And then once Kirby Smart, when they made the decision to hire Kirby Smart, I think it elevated that program even higher in what he's been able to do since he's been there, from a recruiting standpoint to beat Nick Saban to winning the national championship. So this contract, it's a deserved contract.
They're glad to pay that money.
Exactly, because of what he's been able to do.
Isn't it crazy? Because so many schools have hired the Nick Saban assistant, hoping for this, and not getting it.
Well, I'm hoping Mel Tucker go to the same trajectory as Kirby Smart.
Well, here's the other thing too that stands out with this is if Kirby were to take another job, which I think that is a huge if, and I mean I've seen crazy things happen. We saw it this year. I didn't think Lincoln Riley would leave Oklahoma, but here we are. He'd owe $5 million if he terminates the contract before the end of 2024, then $4 million before 2027, $3 million before 2028, $2 million, then $1 million. It
so he's in a win-win situation.
Yeah, so he didn't have to pay all that much.
But where's he going? Like that.
Well, I understand, but like, where was Lincoln Riley going? Did you really Did you see that coming? Did you see Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame?
No.
Okay. Here with Lincoln Riley, this is why I believe that Kirby leaving. Say if they both went to Georgia, he went to Georgia and Lincoln went to Oklahoma at the same time. I just think when Lincoln was there, they were teetering. Did he win the national championship? He didn't win the national championship.
Who?
Did he?
Lincoln Riley?
Lincoln Riley, yeah.
No.
He did.
They've been to the
playoffs. But they were always teetering.
Yeah.
They were always on that. But no one ever felt that, they are going to, they're one person away from winning that championship or one coach. I think at Georgia, they were always, that's their thought, like, we are one coach away from winning the national championship. And when you win a national championship in Georgia, I believe it's probably like no other than maybe Alabama, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, places like that. And then why would you want to leave a place like that? Because you're on top and you're going to continue to recruit at a high rate, and the likelihood of you winning another championship is high, because Nick's getting older and you're younger than Nick, so you're going to be in the game a lot longer than what Nick is. So you figure we're actually on top of the mountain right now.
Yeah, it does look foolproof at this point. It looks
So
like
why would you
Georgia
wanna
will win.
leave?
I don't think you would, but it is interesting to look through history. If you could probably, at a certain point in time, look at a coach's career and say, that guy's, they're going to win forever. And then at some point, it does end, and sometimes quicker than you would think.
Yeah. Jared Stillman coming up next from Stillman & Company. We'll get his takeaways from Titans practice today. We're in the final countdown to the fall sports season, and before everyone hunkers down in their man cave, we're providing the ultimate date night opportunity, a pair of tickets to see Michael Bublé at Bridgestone Arena on Tuesday, August 16th. One grand prize winner will win a Davidoff cigar, blend bar, cocktail, and gift card. Tune in to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game all next week for your chance to win. Brought to you by Blend Bar and Davidoff Cigars. Here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Apple Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, the beach is just the beginning. Because here, there's so much more to explore. So let's paddle, and maybe even parasail. Let's hit the trails, the coffee shops, the quaint boutiques, and craft breweries. And then let's indulge in some fresh seafood with a sea view. From the Gulf Coast to the Bay, there's something for every taste and every interest. So let's make the most of every sun-drenched minute, and let's shine. Start planning your next escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA Diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA Diamond engagement rings will be marked down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer buys with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
These remarkable savings are on every GIA Diamond engagement ring, from a half carat to 20 carats. All shapes too. Rounds, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, ovals, pear shapes.
Remember, all Genesis diamonds are hand-picked, come straight from the diamond cutters, and are graded by the GIA, the most prestigious gem lab in the world.
At Genesis, our everyday prices are unbeatable. But for this event, we're taking value to a whole new level with an additional 20% savings.
Don't miss this chance to save like never before on that exquisite diamond ring. Buy like a dealer buys.
Starting Saturday for a limited time, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. Limit 1 per customer, please. Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey, Nashville, what's the best part of hockey? That's rhetorical. We all know the answer. It's the 3-on-3 overtime, the speed, the skill, the tic-tac-toe passing. It is electric. Well, now there is a new, totally 3-on-3 ice hockey league called 3 Ice, coming to the Music City on August 6th. They're playing at Bridgestone Arena, and tickets are available now at 3ice.com. 6 teams touring across 9 cities, playing a bracket-style tournament at each stop. It's overtime all the time. Hair on fire hockey. Log on to 3ice.com for tickets now.
Cromwell Media, who owns this radio station, is observing a significant milestone this month. Our founder, Bud Walters, is celebrating his 50th year as president. Joining Bud with anniversaries of their own are Max Hurst and Scott Meyer with 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and Ryan Burke in our sales department is also celebrating 1 year with us. From 1 year to 50 years, Cromwell Media is a great place to work, and you're invited to join us. Send an email to together@cromwellmedia.com and tell us about yourself. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Talking Titans training camp, which our coverage presented by USA Hemp Store and Parman Energy, your one-stop petroleum solution. We say hello now to Jared Stillman, of course, of Stillman & Company, weekdays 2 to 6 on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jared, your biggest takeaway from practice today was what?
I thought they had a great day of practice, all around. I thought it was good work. I'll tell you, I thought my biggest takeaway was Tannehill. I thought Tannehill was absolutely outstanding today. And how much does that mean? I don't know. But every throw that he made today, it felt like it had a purpose. I asked Vrabel at the press conference about his thoughts on Tannehill's decision-making, and I figured it would be one of those typical one-worders from Vrabel of, I think Ryan's a good quarterback, and then just kind of move on. But Vrabel went in depth about how pleased he's been with Tannehill. Tannehill's had a great camp, but even today, Tannehill was 9 of 13 before the 2-minute drill. He was 4 of 8 in the 2 minutes. He was 13 of 21. But When I went back and I looked at his incompletions, it's a ball batted down by Jeffrey Simmons on a 3rd and short on a play-action rollout. It's a drop by Traylon Burks. It's a throwaway in 2 minutes just to stop the clock. It's a jump ball in the end zone with 8 seconds left. It's a completion to Burks with 1 second left, but Burks couldn't get the second foot down in the back of the end zone in the 2-minute drill. One of them was a deep ball for McMath, in which it was a beautiful ball, and McMath was going to get the ball at the highest point, and Christian Fulton just made a great play on a 50-50 ball to keep that pass from being completed. He's taking shots down the field. He looks confident in the decisions he's making, and I look at that and I think to myself, it doesn't feel like the same level of confidence that he played at last year. I think camp he's been impressive, but today, Caroline and I kind of joke around with the Practice Player of the Day award. For me, I would give that to Tannehill today. I thought Tannehill looked great. Even the incompletions, I understood. And I don't know what it is, the why of why Tannehill looks different from camp this year than he ended last year, but he looks different.
Yeah, I agree with you. He does. He looks confident. He whatever he needed to do in the offseason, I don't know if it was going out on his fishing boat or whatever, it seemed to work. He seems to be kind of have shaken off, what happened in the postseason last year or last season as a whole. Derek, I can't necessarily explain that of what he's done, but to Jared's point, I agree. I think there is something different there.
Yeah, there is. It's one of those deals where I think he feels comfortable with what's around him. He's not wondering every time he comes out to practice, well, who's going to be at receiver, who's going to be at tight end, who's going to be on the offensive line. Now, they still have their problems, and I do want to ask you about that, Jared, but they still have their problems with the right tackle position. But I think he feels more comfortable with the guys that he have at the skill position. Why? Because they're available. Do you see it like that, Jared?
I do. I mean, I think what's funny is everybody has their own opinion. It's almost like an election of why did this person get elected as opposed to that person. Sometimes it's pretty obvious that, that scandal is why that person didn't get elected. But I think a lot of times there's usually factors that play in that, and it's all subjective. With Tannehill, you brought up the offensive line. Denico Autry didn't practice today, but everybody else did. And they're in pads, and so they can get to Tannehill. They just can't actually hit Tannehill. Would his confidence level be different with Aaron Brewer, an undersized left guard, and a flux at the right tackle position? Would his confidence be different if there was the fear of getting killed? Even when Tampa Bay comes in here, Vita Vea and those guys, they're not going to go after Tannehill like they would in a game, like Week 2 against the Buffalo Bills with Von Miller. And so I have been thinking about that. But I think the availability, to your point, Derek, of the wide receivers, I think that's a big part of it. Robert Woods didn't practice today, but I think it's obvious that Tannehill is really building a rapport with some of these receivers. And I see the development in Nick Westbrook-Akina, and it kind of reminds me, Derek, of when Drew Bennett and Jay McCarron's turned the corner from guys that were in the passing game to guys that could be relied on alongside of you in the passing game. And I think Tannehill really does believe in Westbrook-Akina. He had a beautiful third down throw to him today where, Tannehill put the ball at the spot and Westbrook-Akina ran right to it, made a beautiful catch. I think that there is a confidence level with Tannehill based upon the other guys around him. But to your point about the line, I would like to see him in a situation where he might get his head knocked off.
We're talking with Jared Stillman. You can catch him on Stillman and Company here in Caroline from 2 to 6. Now, Jared, let's talk about the right tackle and sure. Nicholas Frere. There we go. He got run with the first unit today. How did he look?
So I would say this about that battle. I think it's pretty obvious that the Titans are holding their breath as far as Dylan Radins is concerned. I went and watched the offensive line warm-up, and they throw the tackles to the tight ends at one point, and they've done this pretty much every practice where the assistant offensive line coach and the tackles will go off with the tight ends, and Tim Kelly and Luke Steckel will kind of run that group. And it's basically just run blocking. They go into one guy in the pad, and then the tackle goes into the other guy in the pad. And every time I've gone down there, John Robinson has kept his eyes right on it. And I'm looking at the right tackle, and John Robinson is looking at the right tackle. And so I think the Titans are holding their breath about this position right now. With Petit Ferrer, every time I feel like his technique is off, it's always about an adjustment of where to push a guy to, where his lean is or his pad level or is his hands too high or things like that. But what I noticed, and I've been talking about this on the air, is I think he's got more power, like more physical power, especially in the running game, than Dylan Radins has right now. If Mike Vrabel was sold one way or another on either Radins is the guy or Petit Ferrer is not the guy, then I don't think Petit Ferrer would be getting that opportunity. Jamarco Jones was supposed to come in and battle with Aaron Brewer for that left guard spot, and we have not seen Jamarco Jones with the first team like we saw Nicholas Petit Ferrer today. So I would say it's probably an open competition. I think more talent. I think it's probably Petit Ferrer.
Jared Stillman with us. Jared, what about Hassan Haskins? How do you think he's progressing to try to be the guy that you could give a little bit of spell to Derrick Henry for a couple of series per game?
I think if what happened to Derrick Henry, and I hope it doesn't, but I think if what happened to Derrick Henry last year happens again, Hassan Haskins would be the running back of this football team. He looks like he's ready. I felt like it's hard to judge because they're not tackling the running backs, even though now that they have the pads on, they're popping the running backs pretty well. I felt like he's made some steps, some nice runs. He had a good run the other day at practice. He's getting carries. He's getting the ball out of the backfield. I still think if again, say Derrick Henry were out, I think Haskins would be the main running back and Dontrell Hilliard would still be the third down passing back. I think it's hard to tell right now in pass protection how they feel about him, but I do think Hassan Haskins is ready. I mean, physically, he's long, he's lean, he's got a little power in his game. Today they did a lot of running, the short yardage, the 3rd and 1s, and it was more of offensive line versus defensive line. But Haskins a couple times pushed the pile for a first down. So to answer your question, I think Haskins looks fine. I think he's ready to go, and I believe Haskins will have a role in the kicking game, probably not in the return game. But I think that the Titans will use him on special teams that will almost justify having him active every week.
Who, in your mind, is the ideal return man for this team? Is there one emerging?
I think that right now, ideally, the punt returner would be Kyle Phillips. And Racey McMath, I said last Saturday that I felt like Treylon Burks, Nick Westbrook-Akina, and Robert Woods had roster spots locked up. And I felt like McMath was getting really, really close. And he's had an excellent week of practice. I think he's probably got a spot locked up too, given his special teams versatility. Kyle Phillips has been making his way up. He's been making his climb up the depth chart. Today, Mike Vrabel talked about how Ryan Tannehill's been more vocal with the receivers. And there was an incident yesterday where Phillips and I heard Joe talking about this, where Phillips and Tannehill weren't on the same page, and Tannehill let Phillips have it. And I think Tannehill probably did that because he knows he needs Phillips. Phillips had a big catch on a 3rd down today in practice from Tannehill. So I think they probably want Phillips to be the 5th guy, which would leave one more spot open, and then they would want him to also return punts. I think Trenton Cannon, the running back, will probably do the kickoffs.
Jared Stillman is with us. Okay, so I was going to go receiver next with you, so that was 5. Who do you think is the 6th right now? Is it potentially Dez Fitzpatrick or somebody else?
They love Dez Fitzpatrick. And when I say they love, I mean the guy. They love the guy, Dez Fitzpatrick. They like their versatility with Westbrook-Akina and Woods. I asked Vrabel on the first day of practice about playing guys in certain spots, and he brought up that a guy like Treylon Burks, they'll probably want to put into one spot and say, okay, this is your spot. A guy like Robert Woods or Nick Westbrook-Akina, they feel comfortable playing all throughout the formation. So it could give them, a strictly outside guy that doesn't play special teams, which is what Dez Fitzpatrick is. It'd be tough for me, though, because he doesn't give them anything else. So if they were to take another receiver onto the active roster, that could be a guy that could play in the kicking game. That could be a guy who could be a returner, to Willy's point. So right now, I think that that's probably an open spot. And Josh Malone doesn't play special teams, but he's flashed a little bit. Terry Godwin does play special teams, and he's flashed quite a bit. I think that's a really open spot, and all of those guys are going to get a lot of opportunities in the preseason.
I think it's a good problem to have for sure. He is Jared Stillman, Stillman & Company, coming up today at 2 o'clock. What is on deck right at 2?
We're going to talk about Tannehill because, and this is the question, I'll ask you guys this as I kind of exit out of here, which is, so far, Ryan Tannehill's done pretty much everything well at training camp. He's completed every test. The timing looks good. The confidence looks good. The attitude looks good. The pushing the ball down the field looks good. The chemistry with the relationship with the receivers looks good. It has to be a big deal, right? Like, as bad as it was last year, as bad as it was at the end of last year, for Tannehill right now to be performing a 180, I feel like that has to be a big deal. But then again, at the same time, all I hear about Dolphins camp is that Tua is looking outstanding in Dolphins camp, and I really don't pay much mind to that. So that's kind of the question I want to throw out there to start the show today is, how big of a deal is this? Because Tannehill today was the practice player of the day.
All right, we'll be listening at 2 o'clock, you and Caroline Fenton. Thanks so much, Jared. Do it again soon. Jared Stillman and Company. What do you? That's an interesting question. Is it a big deal?
It is.
Is it a big deal?
We could talk about it some, but I mean,
Well,
we'll see.
Let's do that. Plus, Derek, you have done your analysis of the receivers so far. You heard Jared talk about it, that it's a tight battle right now. We will get the wide receivers' thoughts on the Titans wide receivers. Coming up next, it's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It's training time for the Two-Tone Blue, and we have you covered. Talking Titans? Join us live from training camp for interviews and reports, giving you the latest on the Titans.
There's a lot of guys that are making an impact on me, both good and bad.
I like some of the depth. I think that's the key right now.
Training camp coverage is fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hey, Willy Donick here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month, and inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Norfolk Tides from Virginia. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win. Pre-game at 5:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Mike, how do you feel about Ryan's decision-making in this camp, maybe compared to other, what you've seen from him in the past?
I think it's been good. I think he's been pretty decisive. I think he's been very accurate on days. I know, he had the interception yesterday that he tried to, get the ball, layered over Kevin's head. But I would say that all in all, he's been pretty accurate. I really kind of like where his tone is and the way that he's talking to those, skilled players that he's throwing to. It's a big group, so at any snap he could have a different combination of guys, maybe a lot less than what would be in the season. And I hear coaching. I hear him talking, and I hear, so when your quarterback does that or your position players, do that, let's say Kevin Byard or David Long, Jeff, then really we don't need to say anything. And Ryan's, telling those guys where he wants them, and if there's a correction that needs to be made, you see some of those things being done in those group periods.
Mike Vrabel on his quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. Welcome back in. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason with you. Appreciate Jared Stillman for joining us. And he brought that up, that Tannehill's had a good camp. He had a good day today. Is it something we should make a big deal out of, that Ryan Tannehill is having such a good training camp to this point here on August 5th? And we're going to tie this into your receiver analysis, because I do think the two are connected, because the receivers have had such a good camp. That's obviously going to help Tannehill at the same time. But I know in what I've seen of him and how he's carried himself, he does seem to have that swagger and that confidence back.
Yeah, he does, and rightfully so. And I think a lot of it has to do with, okay, we don't have an A.J. Brown, but we have a collection of guys that are available, and they are making plays for me. They are gaining my trust. So if you got a bunch of guys that's one, available, and then two, more importantly, that they're gaining your trust, I think as a quarterback you feel more comfortable going out there. And it's showing in his play throughout, through the first, week and a half, almost 2 weeks now. But I think the true litmus test will be when, for all of them, Tannehill and the receivers and the tight ends, will be when Arizona and Tampa comes into town. I think that'd be a true litmus test. Not necessarily on what they would do during the season, but how they progress so far.
So I don't, in a general sense, I don't ever think anything's that big of a deal. I thought the comment that Jared made really put it in perspective, right? If you hear that Tua is lighting it up at Dolphins practices right now, does that change your outlook at all on Tua from where we sit? No, not at all. So by the same token, I'm not gonna panic or get too excited whether Ryan Tannehill is playing well or struggling during the camp right now. We are in the first inning. We're in batting practice. We're not even in the first inning. We got a long way to go. So, is it encouraging? Yeah, but is it a big deal? I don't think so.
A week from last night, they are in Baltimore for the opening of the preseason. Do you play him at all?
Who is that?
Tannehill.
No. Why?
Not at all.
No, because you've already. I mean, I think Arizona comes into town. Do they before
Tampa?
They play? Tampa comes into town before they play.
It's Tampa in week 2 of the preseason, and then Arizona in the last week of the preseason.
Okay, so they won't see anyone before the preseason game. Okay, but still, I wouldn't play him. Why?
Okay.
I mean, I let Woodside.
Not even the old traditional one series, two series.
This is a situation where, because he's not going to be going against Baltimore first team defense. Nobody. So for me, I'm not. And then you got problems at right tackle. Hell no, I'm not throwing him out there. No way.
So, but you can control the plays.
You gonna run the ball to Haskins all day?
Maybe.
No, but
you throw quick passes. You throw quick hitches. You don't. If it go 3 and out, then what's the big deal? You don't have any 7-step drops or anything like that.
I'm not opposed to a series or two, and then Woodside takes the first half, and you give Willis the second half. See what you got.
Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all this question. I'm asking this. Okay, had the Titans played in the Hall of Fame game, would y'all have liked to see Tannehill?
Yeah, no.
Not in the Hall of Fame game.
That's the same thing. This
But-
is the first
but
game.
there's an extra preseason
No, but it doesn't mean it. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. This game doesn't mean they
Well,
know.
none of them mean anything.
They know what they have in Ryan. They know it. They don't need to go out there and throw him, in the fryer to see how he reacts to
Of
a
course
different
not.
defense.
That's not why you do it,
No,
though. You want to just
keep
you're
him
working the rust off.
If Derrick
you're
Henry's
getting-
not playing, Ryan Tannehill shouldn't play. That's
Okay.
the way I
At
see
all?
it. I mean,
Like in the preseason?
not in this game.
Yeah.
So
Now maybe the next game, depending on how it goes with Tampa, and that week, then okay, we might. But honestly, I don't want to see Tannehill in the preseason. I don't.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I do think that Vrabel last year kept these guys out a little too much in the preseason, and it showed in week 1 against Arizona.
Yeah, but here's why I think it showed a lot in week 1 in Arizona. Because not only were they, he held them out in preseason, but some of these guys wasn't even practicing in practice. Practice? You talking about practice?
Practice?
Yes, I'm talking about practice. But some of these guys wasn't even going in practice, So when they got to the first game, it's like all of a sudden now we got everybody. Everybody's still not healthy, but we got everybody out here.
They were
and there's
thrown
no
out
chemistry
there.
being built. Well, the chemistry's being built now with these practices because, like I said, they're available. They're out there. So I don't need to throw Ryan in the game because, again, we're dealing with, offensive line issues. Anything can happen. You say a 3-step drop. Well, that guy can whiff, and that end could get to you within a second or two.
But for decades, the first team would go out there and play like one series and then get out of there. I guess the attitude has changed some.
Because you have one less game.
And you have more of these controlled scrimmages that we're going to see, which Taylor Lewan described as the Wild West, lawlessness.
Yeah.
They asked him, are you looking forward to those practices where you get to – he goes, not really.
Here's why I think you might
it's
see
the Wild West.
Mm-hmm. Here's why I think you might see him against Baltimore. Because the next 2 weeks you're going to have practices against the teams that you're going to play in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Vrabel, you go through the week, he's practicing against Tampa, going up against that defense, and then it's like, I don't need him in the game. I think that's more beneficial for Woodside and Willis to play in the actual game because I don't think Brady's going to play against the Titans in week 2. I think it's going to be the practice.
Well, Brady ain't going to play, period, in no preseason games.
Probably not.
It's just he's earned that right. But again, I would want to see before I put Ryan Tannehill out there. I would want to see how that offensive line does in the game with Woodside as the quarterback.
We love you, brother, but you're the guinea pig.
Exactly.
So
I don't want to throw
you.
my quarterback out there and risk anything.
Logan
because
Woodside is out for the season after
being hit from the right side because the right tackle whiffed.
Yeah.
They don't need Ryan out there. And the last thing they need for him to do is get hurt. Because if he gets hurt, you might as well forget everything.
Okay. It's fair.
Did I convince you yet?
Yeah, you've convinced me.
Did I convince you,
This
Willie?
is why you're here.
I'm okay with one series, but I understand your argument. I want my guys sharp for week 1. I like somewhere in there. Maybe it's not this game, but somewhere in there, a couple series just to get the
Robbie Stanley on my text line says there's no way Tannehill should take a snap in the preseason. No way.
I'm more with Robbie.
That's a different attitude.
I'm more with Robbie.
Just was not the case back in the day.
Well, they had 2 practices back in the day too, Willie.
Yeah,
I know.
There's a lot
but that's
different.
all the more reason why you maybe don't need the game if you're practicing that much. Now, I mean, you got to get some work in.
Coming up next, Derek Mason's analysis of the wide receivers. Plus, we're going to have your chance to win tickets to see My Chemical Romance at Bridgestone Arena on Tuesday, August 23rd. Willie will have a trivia question for you. That is all coming up next. Chase, Willie, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Matich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. High temperatures today in the lower 90s, just like yesterday. Heat index values in the mid-90s this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening, but no severe weather expected in our forecast going into the weekend.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
People who call QC Kinetics are pretty much fed up with joint pain.
It's to the point where it's affecting their quality of life. Maybe they can't pick up their grandchildren anymore, or golf, or play tennis, or walk with their friends.
Dr. Justin Garzone, medical director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting joint pain relief with no drugs, no steroids, and no surgery.
The great thing about our therapies, there isn't any downtime. There's no side effects, so patients can get our treatment and continue on with their day-to-day life.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from experience. He had excruciating back pain and got relief at a QC Kinetics clinic.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I've had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Oh, are you seeing these readings? This is incredible.
Short-staffed, Marco's climate research facility is in the eye of the storm. The atmospheric pressure to find more weather specialists is mounting.
Man, this is going to be a big job. We're going to need a bigger team.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year.
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling
on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, Derek Mason. Chase, Willie, and D-Mase here with you. And it is time for Derek Mason to give his analysis of what he has seen from the Titans wide receivers so far in training camp. This was the homework assignment that I guess I gave you, but I thought it would be a fun exercise because you see things a little bit differently. So let's start with the rookie out of Arkansas, Treylon Burks. What have you seen so far from Burks?
He's a big physical presence, and that's something that the Titans, they didn't know if they were going to have that after trading A.J. Brown. He might be even a little bit bigger in just like stature than A.J. Brown was. Because I think he's, 6'3", somewhere around there. A.J. was about 6'1". and he has long arms. So he has the measurables, and he has the physicality. He catches the ball well with his hands. He runs good routes. He wasn't asked to do a lot of that at Arkansas, run legitimate routes, which was a detriment to him. But having Rob Moore as your quarterback, as your receiver coach, it helps because he understands, technique and how to run routes. He has good speed, but not great speed.
Does he need great speed?
I don't think he needs great speed. I don't think he will ever possess great speed. I think he will always be around a 4.5, 4.6 guy. But he makes up for it with his physicality. He's sort of like in the mode of Fitzgerald or a Chris Carter, Keyshawn Johnson. These guys with big bodies, long arms, big hands. They don't need to have the speed because if they're body to body with you, they're gonna out physical you to get the ball more than likely. He doesn't possess quickness. They explode like just from point A to point, like get in your break, get in and out of your break. He doesn't. I have not seen that true suddenness from him, and that might be a problem moving forward. Because these defensive backs are so good, man. They getting in and out of breaks, and in the game it's totally different. But I think he's a guy that will learn how to use his big body, how to use the physicality in this game, in the NFL game. And another thing that he has to cut out is he gets too physical to a point where they're going to call pass interference on him. Because I saw in 2 instances where he literally at the top of his route pushed off, extended his hands. They're going to call that every time. So he has to learn, and this is where Rob Moore and Robert Woods come in. You got to learn how to use, your elbows and not extend your arm, because the minute you extend your arms, everybody sees it, they're going to throw a flag. So you got to learn how to use that body to box people out, but use your shoulders and your elbows to kind of get that separation.
All right. Robert Woods.
Robert's just smooth. There's nothing that – everything they said about him, I've seen. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is how will he hold up with the knee. That's the only thing I'm worried about. And then how do you transition from going from a true passing team to now more of a running team? Because – at the beginning of the game or the week of a game, if you're with the Rams, hey, we're throwing the ball. I'm gonna at least get targeted 8 times a game, at least. Well, coming here, you got to adjust your thinking. Some days you might not get targeted 8 times. So how does he stay engaged in the game? Going from a pass-happy team to now more so of a run-dominant team. That's the only 2 things that I'm truly worried about with Robert Woods. I think he's a pro. He understands the game. He understands route concepts and how to get open.
Willie, we know that the Titans like to use play action. I feel like Robert Woods could benefit from the use of play action.
I think he fits perfectly with that. That was something that Football Outsiders pointed out. And so last week when we were going through some of their preseason notes and some of the tendencies from last year, they really like Robert Woods as a guy that fits well with the Titans. You never know when a wide receiver changes teams what you're going to get. Just like, for example, Allen Robinson is going to the Rams. How does he fit? I mean, it's always a bit of a wild card. You see some guys change teams and they're fine. Other teams change teams and they don't ever kind of recapture their role.
They never adjust
with that. So we're hoping with Robert Woods, he finds a home. But it does look like he's a good fit with the play action game of the Titans. I'm also very curious this year with the passing coordinator, the second year of Todd Downing, how much play action do the Titans have in comparison to the last couple of years? It wasn't quite as effective last year. We talked about the stack box that Derrick Henry faced. And the Titans maybe didn't do quite as good a job of exploiting that. as they did in the season before, where it seemed like it was the perfect mix. You want to stack the box? Well, they're going to pick you apart.
All right. What about Nick Westbrook-Akina?
I really like Nick Westbrook-Akina. I really do. Not that I don't like Robert Woods and Treylon Burks, but I like his story because he's worked himself into a position where, you know, it wouldn't be surprising that he starts opening game alongside Robert Woods. It has nothing to do with Treylon Burks, you know, not being able to, you know, show he can play, but feeling comfortable first game of the season with the guy that's done it, the guy that Ryan trusts, a guy that knows the playbook inside and out. You know, Treylon is going to take him a little time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's when they go to line up and 12 personnel, it's Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Akina with Treylon Burks coming in as the third wide receiver, possibly. And then over time, it might change. But I just like his story. I like how he's grinded out. I like how he's been a pro. He runs good routes. He catches the ball with his hands. He's fluent. He's smooth in and out of routes. I was watching them, all the receivers, the other day when we were out there, and they were going through their route drill. They were taking outside release, pushing up 10, and then getting around the bag. And some guys, you saw it, they were thinking about what they were doing and kind of struggling a little bit. It wasn't as fluent to them. But when Nick Westbrook-Akina got out there, it was just like he knew what he was doing. He was confident in what he was doing. And his routes were crisp and fluent. And he's catching the ball with his hands and getting up the field. And, you know, more importantly, he has earned the respect and the trust of Ryan Tannehill. So I think he's going to be a key cog in what they do, especially early on.
All right, and then the guy that everybody's been talking about, Racey McMath, somebody that I know popped out to you the first day we were there.
Yeah, Racey he has a combination that no other receiver on this team has. He's big like Treylon Burks. He's fast, you know, like maybe Kyle Phillips or one of these other receivers. And he catches the ball well, like Robert Woods, and he's fluent in his routes. Now, you can get better, but you can see that he's working on it. He made it his business to work on his craft. And I'm going to go back to what I said, you know, the other day. Listen, if all things were even, and Robert Woods didn't, you know, have the 8-year career and the numbers that he had and winning a Super Bowl, and Treylon Burks wasn't the first-round receiver, if you just threw all those guys and said, we don't know who you are, I think Racey McMath would be a starter. I do. I really do. I think he has everything you need to possess as a receiver. Now it's just him picking up the offense more and more and gaining the trust of Ryan Tannehill, which we saw, you know, Ryan slowly gaining that trust. So I like Racey McMath. He's sort of like Nick Westbrook-Akina. He's been a grinder. You know, he started at the bottom and now he's working his way up. And you can tell. He's been working in all season to hone in on his craft.
We'll look at some of the other receivers a little bit later on, but Derek doing his receiver analysis. Coming up next, we're going to have a little fun. It's Friday. We're going to get the trivia question when we come back because you got that, Willie. So we will do that.
I'm ready to
go.
But, Titans training camp trivia.
But also the top 100 greatest cinematic athletes of all time. This will be a fun conversation, and we want your participation as well. But first, it's Friday. Let's all celebrate. I'm going to celebrate with a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Had one last night, actually, and it went down oh so smooth. It was fantastic. I like it chilled and as a shot, but you can have it on the rocks. You can have it as an espresso martini, a peanut butter old-fashioned, a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Just visit screwballwhiskey.com for more recipes, however you like your Screwball. But I like it because it's smooth, and it's made with real peanuts, real peanut butter, and real whiskey, and it's an original. It's the original peanut butter whiskey, just like me, the suit. That's why it is my favorite. So when you're out and about with your friends, ask for it by name. Say, I want a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. And also do like I do. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
If you missed the latest from Robbie and Rex Road.
By the way, we're all wrong in this discussion because it's program, as we've established many times here on the show.
Right.
A lot of program talk the last couple of days. It's program. That's what we do on this program.
Who says program the best? I think Chris Lowe might say it the best.
Chris Lowe's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I mean, you can about his program.
There's a scope of SEC coaches that say it pretty well. Like, I'm sure, Brian Kelly has probably adopted the word program at this point down at LSU. If not, it's coming soon.
Well, see, but he'll probably be like, I'll say my program, and it's like, you're an imposter, Coach Kelly. That's one of those nuances you got to pick up if you're BK.
Yeah. I mean, you got to make sure you figure that out.
Tune in Robbie and Rex with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Your company's hiring. Who isn't? We would love to show you how to use 102.5 The Game to attract and retain employees. We can also help you find the exact person you're looking for with a targeted digital campaign. You can trust our team to help you build your team. Email us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
New message.
Hey, man, it's Devin. From that time you accidentally emailed me because you thought I was a different Devin. Oh, and your email signature said confidential. If you receive this in error, please delete. That's so you. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat. When are we setting sail, Captain?
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Oh, and no, you did not receive this message in error.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 1 o'clock hour, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It's all presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Hope you're having a great Friday. Coming up in a few minutes, the best characters in sports movies of all time. They must be fiction, but the greatest cinematic athletes of all time. Fictitious characters that we will go through. And we've already got some text on this.
Yes, and
Fictitious
it cannot be. Here's the thing. It cannot be like a biography.
No.
Like, it can't be from a movie about, Mickey Mantle, like 61, right? It was about Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. It can't be those guys.
So can we pick Lawrence Taylor, even though he played?
It's got to be his character.
He played a character in the movie. It was
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a technicality. I don't think it can be. that.
He wasn't Lawrence Taylor,
You're
though.
right. So that could give him a leg up. It could be your favorite.
Exactly.
They could be.
But first, we're going to give away tickets to see My Chemical Romance, which is coming to Bridgestone Arena. And you will have a chance to win that by calling 615-737-1025 now to answer our Titans trivia question that we have been doing every day. You must answer the question, and the first person to get that right will win these tickets. It's August 23rd at Bridgestone Arena. So 615-737-1025. Do you want to give the question now?
Yes, let's give it. Let's throw it out there. And we want to tell you we're excited about Trivia Night, which is coming up in, I believe, 19 days, August 24th, if my math is correct. August 24th at Boombah's East. So if you like trivia, get it together. It's $100 for a team, so it's like $25 per person, but you get a free appetizer, $2 beers, and you're going to have a blast. Big, big prizes. Concert tickets, Predators tickets, sound waves over at the Opryland Hotel.
Yeah.
So whatever you like the best, you get to choose. If you win, you get to choose the prize that you win for your team. We're going to have a great night to benefit Stars. D-Mase is on the board for Stars. We're going to have a great time over on the east side. So here's the question today. See if you can win. 615-737-1025. Wild Card Weekend, January 6, 2018. So this is the 2017 season. Mike Mularkey, coach of the Titans. Chiefs take a 21-3 lead over the Titans at halftime. Titans come back and win the game. Marcus Mariota threw 2 touchdown passes in that game. Can you name the players who caught the touchdown passes? The 2 players that caught touchdown passes from Marcus Mariota in the Titans' win over the Chiefs, coming from behind at Arrowhead Stadium. 615-737-1025. You cannot text the answer in. You must call and get the answer correct.
Jared has texted me, and he has gotten it correct.
Jared is ineligible to win the prize. But maybe we can get Jared to come to the trivia night on the east side.
I bet he would.
I mean, I think we need to recruit a team just to play along to see how you guys do against the competition. We already have 12 teams signed up for this. They want into this. So I feel like we need to get a 1025 The Game squad.
I'm down.
So would you guys think Jared would be worth having on your team?
Oh, yes. No, Jared would be our ringer because he's got the memory. He's like you. He's got an encyclopedia.
But then you have to sit there with Jared for the entire night.
Yeah,
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's why they have Screwball.
Exactly.
Are you okay? So you're the suit, so you could be the captain of the team that night.
I'd probably
and you can pick
somebody.
the guys. So you get D-Mace,
And
you
we
get
will have
Jared, you get one more.
designated
It's a team of 4. Designated driver.
Yeah, we
That's
will
a good
have
idea.
designated drivers.
That's a good idea too. All right.
I can ride in the Porsche.
If I'm participating, then
Okay,
we got to get somebody else to drive.
I know some people.
So this was a heck of a win for the Titans because they hadn't won a playoff game in a long, long time. You had to go back to the Joe Nedney game. That's the last time they had won a playoff game. They hadn't been in a playoff game since the Derek Mason heartbreak when the Ravens beat the Titans, the Joe Flacco crew.
2010.
When the Titans were the number 1 seed. So the
it
following week.
looks like we have a winner.
We got the winner.
It took a second, but I think we have a winner.
Yep,
There we go.
The lines have been X'd out. We do. Yep, we're getting the thumbs up. The answer?
I know it.
You do?
Marcus Mariota is one.
Yes.
Eric Decker is the other.
That is correct.
Marcus Mariota?
That was the wrinkle.
Decker.
If you remember, Marcus Mariota threw the pass that got batted in the air.
And tipped
he
back to
caught
him.
it and ran it in. I actually saw Malik Willis do that in the 2-minute drill the other day when we were at camp. He had a ball. Of course, they blew the whistle right away, so we don't know if he would have actually caught it and run. But that is the only way you can advance the ball. You can't throw it again. That is what some quarterbacks forget. If it's batted right back to you, sometimes the instinct is, oh, well, now I can throw it again.
No,
you can't do that. But you can run it, and Mariota did not down near the goal line. That sort of sparked the comeback. Derrick Henry broke a long run. They went for 2 and missed it. They got the ball back. Eric Decker, the 22-yard catch, probably Eric Decker, hands down, his biggest moment as a Titan, for sure.
course.
That was a big one. And they got the win. So congrats. And we'll get the info on the winner here in a moment. But perhaps we can recruit this person to participate in Trivia Night.
I think
If
so.
you want to sign up, by the way, just go to
Can we bring our
starsnashville.org.
Can we bring our computers?
No.
Well, we got a cell phone.
No phone. No phone, no computer.
Phones?
No phones, no computer.
Are y'all collecting phones at the beginning?
I don't think we're going to collect.
So it's the honor system.
It's going to be the honor system.
Okay, I feel you.
We have high honor.
All right.
I will be snooping around, though. I'll be kind of patrolling. I'll have scouts just looking to see if anybody pulls out the
Is
phone.
Mahoney going to be a scout?
He will not, but he did try to pull out the phone. We were in Birmingham. We did one of these. His travel team, they were all sitting over there, and the parents were crushing the players. Crushing. Without cheating. Looked over there, and all the guys were on their phone. I was like, get off the phone.
Hey, if y'all didn't specify that at the beginning, then it's not cheating.
No, it will be specified. It will be specified.
Okay.
So go to starsnashville.org if you want to play in Trivia Night. So Zach's still getting the lowdown from the guys, but that's trivia for today.
All right. I like it. We got it. Got a winner. All right. Now, let's have a little fun on a Friday. Willie, I think you presented this to the group text. The 100 greatest cinematic athletes of all time, and they are ranked in this article. This is from Medium.com.
Medium.com. This was a friend of mine that actually did this. And, of course, this is all subject to your opinion, right? So you just want to pick your favorite. He lists 100 of these guys and girls. I'll give you one of my one that he put on there that my favorite.
Well, I love the picture of Hamilton
Some
Porter.
of the great. Ham Porter, he put, I think, is the number one guy, right?
No, Ham Porter. No, Ham Porter's not number one.
Oh, that's right. So I guess he put Rocky number one. He
Rocky
did say
number
ranked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got him ranking number one.
But really, there's no right or wrong answer here. Got to be up there. One of my favorites, so I'm going to go with her today, is Amanda Wurlitzer from the original Bad News Bears, the midseason pickup by Walter Buttermaker. You know, he knows Amanda through his ex-girlfriend. Amanda's the daughter of his ex-girlfriend, and he knows she can really pitch. His team has no pitching. They're the Bad News Bears. They're awful. So he's got to convince Amanda, who is sort of maybe growing out of the game a little bit, but still very talented. He's got to recruit her to come in. So he buys her some ballet lessons and recruits her to come in, and she turns the season around. She was, I would argue, just as big as the pickup of Kelly Leak for the Bad News Bears, because you got to have pitching. Kelly Leak didn't pitch as great as he was, and he appeared to hit a home run, I think, every time they pitched to him during the season. Can you tell original Bad News Bears is one of my all-time favorite movies?
It's a great movie.
But Amanda, you can't go anywhere without Amanda in that movie. She was classic. So I'm going with Amanda Wurlitzer as my favorite. What's the category called again? The all-time greatest cinematic athletes.
What I'm surprised is he doesn't have Remember the Titans. Now, is that because it's based on...
That's sort of based on a real team.
Real effect.
So in theory, those are real players.
You know, one of mine, and this is just, I mean, it classifies, I'm sure it does, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I loved all the kids at Sandlot. I loved all of those. Yeah, all of those kids are great.
Yeah.
I loved all of them. But have y'all ever seen Like Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Lil Bow Wow when he gets when he gets the magic shoes. That had to be one of my favorites. Is he not on the list? He's not on the list.
See, that shows you that this list is not limited to these 100.
There's not as many of the Gordon Bombay's on here from Mighty Ducks, but there's not as many.
There's endless possibilities here. This is just one person's opinion. He put his top 100.
And Ted Lasso's on here.
I'm surprised he got Clubber Lane so far down. Clubber Lane, come on, man.
AC Slater from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, my goodness.
What sport is AC Slater? Wrestling?
He was
football and basketball.
He was supposed to be football and basketball on that show? Oh, good.
Kenny
grief.
Powers is baseball.
So we want to get your favorite.
Oh, people are already weighing in on the text line, so I'm ready for this. 615-737-1025. You can call or text in your favorite cinematic athlete of all time. They must be fictitious. Have to be a fictional character. Right. We'll go through some highlights of the list, and we'll give the rest of ours because I haven't given mine yet. Coming up next, because this is a fun Friday topic for you. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey everybody, Willy Donick here to tell you about Trivia Night for Stars. Think you're pretty smart? Well, come on out Wednesday, August 24th to Boom Bars East and test your trivia skills. I'll be your trivia master. We'll have sports questions, some non-sports questions, and some great prizes. It's brought to you by Nerdy Talk, and all proceeds support Stars and the hope, health, and connection of young people in our community. Register your team of no more than 4 and let the competition begin. Go to starsnashville.org to officially sign up. That's starsnashville.org. See you on August 24th at Boom Bars East.
Hey, Nashville, what's the best part of hockey? That's rhetorical. We all know the answer. It's the 3-on-3 overtime. The speed, the skill, the tic-tac-toe passing. It is electric. Well, now there is a new, totally 3-on-3 ice hockey league called 3 Ice. Coming to the Music City on August 6th. They're playing at Bridgestone Arena, and tickets are available now at 3ice.com. 6 teams touring across 9 cities, playing a bracket-style tournament at each stop. It's overtime all the time. Hair on fire hockey. Log on to 3ice.com for tickets now.
Celebrate back-to-school season with Hiller. This month only, get free backyard upgrades when you replace essential home systems like a free Traeger grill with a new whole home generator or a free Yeti cooler with a new tankless water heater. And Hiller's keeping you cool for back-to-school with zero-interest financing for up to 12 months on select new HVAC systems. Visit happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today. This is Stan Harrison of Apple Collision Centers. At this time, we would like to send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Mark Howard. Mark has been a staple of Nashville sports for as long as I can remember, and Mark will be dearly missed.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high-quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, a dab bar at the Hendersonville location, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
Genesis Diamonds is opening up the vault with our largest GIA diamond event ever. Starting Saturday for a limited time, all our GIA diamond engagement rings will be marked down 20%.
That's 20% below Genesis' already unbeatable price. This means you can buy like a dealer buys with deep discounts on over $10 million in stunning diamond rings.
These remarkable savings are on every GIA diamond engagement ring, from a half carat to 20 carats. All shapes too. Rounds, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, ovals, pear shapes.
Remember, all Genesis diamonds are hand-picked, come straight from the diamond cutters, and are graded by the GIA, the most prestigious gem lab in the world.
At Genesis, our everyday prices are unbeatable, but for this event, we're taking value to a whole new level with an additional 20% savings.
Don't miss this chance to save like never before on that exquisite diamond ring. Buy like a dealer buys.
Starting Saturday for a limited time, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. Limit 1 per customer, please. Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey, it's Jared. If you're listening to us on I-24 towards Murfreesboro or I-65 towards Spring Hill, make sure you check out 106.3 for another great way to hear Nashville's best sports talk.
I love this show. Never miss a moment of the show. Okay, all right, okay. Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, Nick's favorite music, coming back. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Taking your calls and your texts. The greatest cinematic athletes of all time. They must be fictitious. The text line is blowing up with this, so you definitely want to talk about this. I'll give you mine. If Pete Weber is listening, he will agree with me. It has to be the Hanson brothers from Slapshot. And I know they are loosely based on somebody, but the Hanson brothers for me are hands down.
Yeah.
Ogie Oglethorpe is on this list too, also from Slapshot, but gotta love
the Hanson brothers. They were real players, so technically they didn't play themselves, I guess.
No.
So they. Well, I mean that is an interesting thought. Like that is a borderline. Are they?
I mean, they're on
answers?
this list.
They're on this list, so
yeah.
they pass the criteria of this particular.
I just I don't understand why Charlie Conway's not on this list. Gordon Bombay is, but you don't have other Mighty Ducks.
It's like the Lawrence Taylor from Any Given Sunday. He wasn't playing for his team, a real team, so it passes the test.
I think Ivan Drago needs to be a little bit higher too. He ended a man's life.
He does.
Good.
He does.
Like
and not just anybody.
Exactly. Apollo Creed. Like he had Rocky scared. Like Rocky had to go somewhere to regroup. Because he was so dominant.
Yep.
Who was yours? Your favorite?
Mine was I said like Mike. I said
Oh,
Lil
yeah,
Bow Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Just because it was just like one of those funny things. Like Mike 2 was horrible, but like Mike 1 was good.
All right, let's go to our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025. Jeff says the list begins and ends with Jimmy Chitwood.
Jimmy Chitwood was the man. No question about it.
Here's another one. Unnamed texter.
He's high on this list here, Jimmy Chitwood.
I didn't see this guy on the list, but this is another one from an unnamed texter, Shane Falco from The Replacements. Shane Falco's pretty good
right.
Now, was he the quarterback, Shane Falco?
Yeah.
See, that could
Keanu
be a
Reeves.
mini character is quarterback, best quarterback, fictitious character.
I'd probably take Shane Falco. Because if it has to be fictitious and I can't take Ronnie Sunshine Bass.
You're talking about for quarterbacks?
For quarterbacks. Steve Nebraska. No,
I think Steam and Willie Beeman now.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anthony Michael Hall from the fame of 16 Candles and stuff. He played Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
He's in there as a candidate.
Roy Hobbs from The Natural. Brett
Well, he was not a
Franklin.
quarterback. I was
I
just thinking.
I know.
I was thinking of quarterbacks from movies, like the guy from Friday Night Lights is in there. That was a real movie. I mean, that was a real team. That's another technicality.
What, unnamed texter, Uncle Rico better have made the list. He could throw a football over them mountains.
Yes.
But see, the problem is we never seen Uncle Rico actually play the game.
That's right. Now, according to Uncle Rico, though, he was pretty darn good in 1982. He was reenacting the glory days throughout the movie. That was classic. While he was selling the plastic tumblers, Tupperware,
and he threw his steak.
Burt Reynolds. What was Burt Reynolds' character in the
Longest Yard?
The Longest Yard, yeah.
Because he was a quarterback.
The Longest Yard is not. Yeah, it is. Is it?
Yeah, there were two versions of The Longest.
There's
Adam
the-
Sandler appears on this list a bunch of times because he was in a lot of these movies.
But they got Babe. No, that's something else. I was thinking about the movie Babe.
Okay,
Not
I got
Babe
something
Ruth.
for you guys, though. I don't know if you've seen this. And this is a running joke with some of my teammates right now for myself. But what about Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro?
Yeah,
He
Jackie
made the
Moon,
list.
yeah, he made the list.
Oh,
Okay. That's a pretty good one because I'm player coach GM for my beer league team, and apparently that's my nickname. But that's a good one to throw out there, I think. He's pretty funny in the movie.
That's a good one.
Coy in Clarksville, Nelly from The Longest Yard in the new version of The Longest Yard.
I haven't seen
I can't
that
keep up with this.
Yeah.
This thing is Johnny Utah from Point Break.
That's another Keanu Reeves, Johnny Utah. So he was supposed to be the ex-quarterback.
Oh, here's a good one.
What's that?
It's not a movie either. Al Bundy. 4 touchdowns, 1 game.
But we never seen it.
But he talks about it through the
Yeah,
whole show.
Yeah,
Like
that's a
that's
good
like the
question.
running
Do
thing.
you actually have to see the footage?
They
to-
Al
tried.
Bundy.
Remember, they tried to reenact it.
Paul Crew in The Longest Yard from Henry. Forrest Gump getting to vote from Jim. Will in Bellevue. Rodney Dangerfield is Al Chiric or Ted Knight is Judge that's
Judge
right.
Smales.
Smales in Caddyshack.
Well, I think Rodney Dangerfield's best athletic performance, though, would have to be when he was Thornton Mellon and he did the triple Lindy.
Yeah, the triple
The-
Lindy.
the
yeah.
platform diving. That was.
But that's when he went to school. He had to go
He
back,
went back to school.
with his
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
Yeah.
BP in Springfield votes for Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn.
Okay.
That made the list.
The Rock and the Tooth Fairy. Oh, the Rock could be one.
No.
Oh, sure. What was that?
But he was a coach, wasn't he? In the one movie.
No, but
that
there was a
based on
movie. There was a
true
movie
story.
where he finds out he has a daughter and he's a quarterback.
Oh, I know what you're talking
I
about.
forget what it was called.
And he had to take the daughter to work with him and everything else. Beth Harmon. Now that was a. But do you consider chess a sport? You know, the Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
She was great in the movie.
Wow, that was good stuff.
But do you consider that it's a sport?
Becky Icebox O'Shea. That's a vote.
Becky Ice. What
I don't
movie
remember
were we
what
talking
movie.
about?
I don't even.
I thought y'all would know. I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
I don't know that one.
Oh, is that Little Giants?
Yeah. Yeah, little.
Ice
That's
Box
it.
and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what was the name of the little guy that duck his head underneath his shoulder pads? Because the bigger guy, it was Little Giants.
Little Giants?
Yeah, but he ducked his head, he scooted his head under his shoulder pads.
I was hoping we could have. I mean, we got like hundreds of texts on this. Willie Mays Hayes getting a vote. Gotta love Willie.
That's
Mays
another
Hayes.
subcategory. Is
Happy Gilmore.
who is the best of the major league crew? How would you rank those guys?
How about Peter LaFleur from Dodgeball?
Well,
If
Peter
we're gonna say
LaFleur,
dodgeball, it's Patrick Houlihan. That's
Patches
for me.
O'Houlihan, yeah, the coach. I mean, because he's the inspiration of the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Nothing happens without Patches.
He threw the monkey wrenches at us. Like, seriously? Who throws monkey wrenches?
You got to get
They're
mean.
people.
Henry says, the Predators still use that.
Yeah.
Henry says, let's not forget the greatest goaltender in soccer history, Sylvester Stallone in Victory.
Oh, one of my favorites for sure.
I didn't see that.
Hatch.
Yeah, that's a good one. Brewster.
He
and
starts
Brewster's
off as
Millions.
the trainer and becomes the goalie.
Okay, Fast and the Furious, is that a sport movie?
It's racing. I mean,
No.
it's street racing. I say no.
Yeah, me either. He has that on the list.
Oh,
He
see,
has
But
Dominic
Richard Pryor as
Toretto.
what was Brewster's first name?
Toretta.
What was Brewster's first name? What was
Who?
Richard Pryor
Oh,
when he's the
Brewster's
pitcher?
Million.
Is it what?
I forgot his.
What was his first name? Anyway, he pitches against the Yankees, and he does really well for about 2 innings.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take Amanda Wurlitzer over him. I mean, he got a little tired. He gave up a grand slam in the 3rd inning against the Yankees. So he
But
did
you saw
great.
him actually play.
The great.
He did actually pitch
Yes.
in the movie.
This is Air Bud. Got to vote
Yeah.
for that. Adam in Clarksville. He be still to my heart because Adam knows. Cole Trickle from Days of Thunder.
Okay, so does this
Rubbin's
one
racing, Cole?
Does this one count? Jesus Shuttlesworth. I mean, because he's an athlete anyway. Ray Allen. He's an athlete anyway. So does that count?
I think it counts.
I mean, if you're playing a fictional character,
He's a fictional character. He should be in there.
Johnny Moxon in Varsity Blues. That's a good
Mox,
one.
yeah. Although he was really the second string quarterback, and
the one guy got hurt.
The guy got hurt. So how good was he? He did
so
the
he's
job.
basically Kurt Warner.
He was the Kurt Warner.
Yes.
Of the movies of this list. He's the Kurt Warner of this list.
Keith from Bowling Green.
Who did he say?
Caller says it was Warren Willie.
Warren
Brewster. He said that's what he thinks.
No, Warren Brewster was an actual pitcher, relief pitcher for the Cubs
It
and the
could have been Warren
Phillies.
Brewster.
So no, it was definitely not Warren Brewster in the movie.
What did he say, Chase? You can't say
I
it.
can't read it, but
Yeah.
it's funny.
We're going to look this up. We're going to get the Brewster from Brewster's Millions.
Lightning McQueen gets a vote. I mean, this thing, you guys are great right now.
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby has definitely gotten a vote. Lola
Cole
Bunny,
Trickle or Ricky Bobby? That's the who's the better athlete?
Cole Trickle.
Cole Trickle
Give
better
me
than
Cole
Ricky
Trickle.
Bobby?
Give me Cole Trickle.
I don't know, man.
Give me
wouldn't sell
Cole
him short.
Trickle, then Cal Naughton Jr., Rowdy Burns. Yeah, I'd rather have that.
Montgomery Brewster. That's Richard Pryor's. Montgomery Brewster.
Josh says Lola Bunny in Space Jam. That's funny.
It's a stretch.
Can we say LeBron James or Michael Jordan in Space Jams?
No, because they play themselves. Pedro Serrano. This is from Elliot. Pedro Serrano, Ricky Bobby, and the deadliest woman in the world with dodgeball, Fran. Her last name that is long.
You can't pronounce it, but
Yeah.
she throws it really hard in the movie.
That's a good one. Kyle Watts above the rim. Dottie Henson, Gina Davis, A League of Their Own. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Ernie, Big Ern, McCracken, and Kingpin. Oh, Kingpin. Kingpin is underrated.
It's a good movie.
Yes.
I like Kingpin.
Now, which one is that? Was that Bill Murray's character or was that Woody?
I think that's
I forget the names.
no, I think that's Bill Murray's because I think Woody Harrelson was shoot. Well, what was his name? It was Ron, maybe, or I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I love that movie.
You have an interesting one here, the surfing category. You have Jeff
Roy
Spicoli.
Munson. Roy Munson was Woody Harrelson.
Roy Munson was Woody Harrelson. Okay, the surfing category, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you had Jeff Spicoli. And then the other candidate is Lance B. Johnson from Apocalypse Now, a little more of a serious movie. So, of course, he was the soldier on the boat. And he did showcase his skills in the movie, Lance Johnson, because when they had the bombing, they had the battle going on, and he was told to surf the beach. This beach is safe for surfing. So you saw the skills. Spicoli, I don't think you actually saw surfing in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, so that could be a discrepancy there. Might have to go with Lance.
615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your calls and your texts. Wayne, we'll get to you. Coming up next, your favorite fictitious athletes of all time. But first, Willie, tell us about QC Kinetics.
All right, and I'm sure Spicoli at this point might need some help for joint pain. It's possible. Anything is possible. But we're talking about these fictitious athletes. But in the real life, if you like to move around and be active, but you're saddled with some joint pain, we want you to know that QC Kinetics is out there, and they've got the cutting-edge techniques right now to keep you moving. And they're new and exciting. We know about the traditional methods when you have ailments, and those are fine, but you may not have discovered QC Kinetics. The old remedies are not the only remedies. You need to learn more about regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. It can change your life. So make this the last summer that you suffer from chronic pain. They've got clinics here and all over America. It's exciting, it's new, it's natural, no side effects, no downtime, and, of course, no surgery. So find more about this and how they apply your own body's healing agents to your aching joints. It restores and repairs the damaged tissue. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics right now. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey football fans, Patrick Mahomes here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
When looking for quality recreational sports in Nashville, look no further than Mid-State Sports. With over 25,000 participants, they're one of the largest sports organizations in the Southeast. Fall registration is now open for youth soccer for boys and girls aged 3 to 13. Registration is also open for adult sports like softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. For a full list of youth and adult sports leagues, check out midstatesports.com.
This week's Nashville's best deal is from River Queen Voyages. It's a fun and unique way to cool off in Nashville this summer. Nashville's River Fun Authority gives you the best views of the city with skyline kayaking, river scavenger hunts, and a party pontoon with your own captain. Book your downtown river adventure at riverqueenvoyages.com. And while supplies last, get half off a $50 gift card at thegamenashville.com/deals. That's thegamenashville.com/deals.
Is your mattress keeping you up all night? Tossing and turning? Needing a new mattress but don't know where to go? Well, shop at Social Furniture today, where they sell comfort. They have all of the top brands like Sealy, Stearns & Foster's, Simmons, Serta, and Purple Mattress. Social Furniture offers sofa beds, loft beds, twin beds, queen beds, king beds, kids beds, and beds for your whole family. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Shop local. Shop social.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Somebody company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming. Get the extra point, no problem. And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Remember when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl, do you?
Bobby Boucher bringing us back. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason, taking your calls and your texts. The greatest cinematic athletes of all time. And I got to say, I haven't seen the text line blow up like it has with this. People giving their thoughts. But this one just came through. Unnamed texter, Woody Harrelson's Billy Hoyle in White Men Can't Jump. What do you guys think about that one? I love that movie.
No, I love the movie.
It's a good movie.
I think, yes.
That counts.
It counts. Yeah, it does count. But in the rankings, where does he fall?
Here's what I really want to know of that movie. I don't know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys, Wesley Snipes, and they were like dunking. Were they? That was not a 10-foot goal, was it? That was not a 10-foot goal.
No. Oh, no, it wasn't a 10-foot goal.
Did they like
or
find
either that was them
goals?
not dunking. Somebody else was dunking. It just showed them afterwards.
Like, they looked okay in that movie, but what was the guy? Shuttleworth? Who's the like
Jesus Shuttleworth?
Yeah, come on. I mean, they could not have taken Ray Allen in the movie. I even like Jimmy Chitwood over the guys from White Man Can't Jump.
I mean, they've gotten votes. They've definitely gotten votes.
But if you're selecting a team, I think Jimmy Chitwood, I think he shot like 85% in the movie. I think he missed like 3 shots the whole movie. You got to have him.
So do we take Shaq and Kobe and Shaq and Penny?
That's now,
Shaq
now
and
we're
Penny?
in
because they were not playing themselves.
In the Blue Chips.
Yeah.
They did have fictitious names.
They had fictitious names.
Yeah, yep. I played against one of the guys in that movie, Matt Nover, the guy, the country boy that got the John Deere or whatever. That he played for Indiana. I played a couple games against him.
Yeah, they went and got him for Prince Lake, Indiana. So what about him?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't count Shaq and Penny out.
Yeah, if you're picking a team,
because if you put Jesus Shuttlesworth in there, you got to put Shaq and Penny in there as well.
And also Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, they were not always on the level.
No.
Because they were playing the hustle game. So
they were. But it's a good movie.
You don't know if they're going for it.
Josh on our text line says, y'all are going to make me late for coming back from lunch. I love this segment. He put Johnny Tsunami in there from a Disney movie. He said Lola and Space Jam. Well, does this one count? Jonathan in East Nashville says Vince Vaughn and Rudy. Rudy's based on a
that's sort of a real story. It's supposed to be based on a true story.
Yeah. So I guess you can't use that one.
Yeah.
Carl and Sling Blade.
No, that's a stretch.
That's a stretch. 615-737-1025. Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Wes, welcome in.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I just got in the car, and I was listening, and I heard somebody talking about fictitious athletes and mentioned Jess Spicoli. How do you go Fast Times at Ridgemont High and go with Jess Spicoli? Wrong answer. You go with Jess Spicoli's pot-smoking buddy's older brother, Charles Jefferson.
Yes.
I don't know how many of the guys from Lincoln he put in the damn hospital. A guy going into convulsions after he laid him out.
He was powerful. Forrest Whitaker plays the role. He was awesome. That is a great one. They wrecked his car, Spicoli, with the little brother. They wrecked the car, so what they did was they made it seem like the arch rival team had done this, and it ticked off the brother, and then he just went to town in the game. He just blew him away. It was a brilliant move by Spicoli.
Elliot says the Jesus from The Big Lebowski.
John Turturro.
Yeah, what about Lebowski, though?
See, we could have a subcategory of the bowlers, the guys from Kingpin versus the guys from Big Lebowski.
Greg says Clarence Withers from Jackie Moon, or from Semi-Pro.
Yeah.
One guy, too, if we're really picking a team, well, Drew might.
Pro.
Do you mean Coffee Black?
Yeah, Coffee Black.
Yep.
You got to put Coffee because he's the one that ended up going to the pros.
Yes,
he's the one that ended up going to the pros.
He's the one that brought alley-oops.
Yeah.
Yes, he brought that team to a new level.
Exactly.
Okay, here's an interesting one, Willie. I don't know if either one of you have seen this. I'm pretty sure you probably have, Nick. Sean William Scott, Doug the Thug Glatt from Goon.
Yes, that is a great movie. I highly
I'm not going to say
recommend
it's
it.
a great movie, but
I agree with it. I did not enjoy that movie as much as I was hoping.
It was
I would.
funny.
It was okay,
but it wasn't like.
LaFlamme is a really good character if you like goal scoring, but if you're a hockey fan listening to the show right now and you can handle the explicit content, then,
it's good.
Oh yeah, then go for it. But other than that, yeah.
How about Danny Zuko? He was a track runner. He ended up lettering in track in the movie Grease. So I mean, come on, you gotta put Danny Zuko up there. Come on.
I feel like he was playing baseball at some point too, wasn't he?
He played baseball. He wrestled. He played basketball, but he settled on track.
For kind of like a rebellious guy with the slick back hair, he was a pretty good athlete.
Well, he was trying to, he wanted the old girl to like him.
Yeah.
So he decided to play a sport to get his Letterman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put him on there.
Okay.
Because that's my favorite movie. So
you got to go with the guy. If you can work Grease in, somehow you work it in.
Ricky says Willie Beeman.
I said Willie Beeman earlier.
Willie Beeman.
Another one is Above the Rim, Kyle Watson. He was the best basketball player in the state. That was Tupac was in it, and there were some other people in it. Who was his dad? His dad was Denzel Washington in the movie.
Yes.
His dad was Denzel Washington in the movie, yeah.
We could have a full subcategory on the separate sports.
I think it was.
And have a tournament with
Chet
the basketball
Stedman
guys.
from Rookie of the Year. Oh, and now we got to vote for The Office. Michael Scott, MVP of the warehouse pickup basketball game. That's funny. The basketball's Freddie Boom Boom Washington.
Freddie Boom Boom.
Now, did
Washington.
we ever see Freddie actually play? That I
don't know if we did.
I mean, he
feel
definitely
like there's an
looked
obvious one that we've missed.
Well, and the other thing is, are we
Crash Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we also, if we're saying cinematic, are we including sitcoms and TV shows? Because
sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, we can make our own criteria here, but if we are, then we might have to look at The White Shadow. Remember that?
Yeah.
Coolidge.
Yes. Or All American that's on now. What's the kid's name that's playing football? Gosh, it's on. Is it on Hulu or Netflix? One of them.
Are you talking about like All American?
Yeah, All American.
I don't know. I don't know any of them.
What is the guy's name? Because I know Tay Diggs is the father.
Yeah.
And the coach, but the star athlete, I forgot his name.
Rick says that he got game and Above the Rim mixed up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he got game was Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Above the Rim.
Denzel is the dad.
Yeah, and he got game.
Ray Allen. Yeah.
D-Mase, is it Spencer James?
Yeah, Spencer James. Yeah, I need to check that. He should be up there.
Plus, I think we need to. Part of the vote should go to like how fun the name is to say. Like, I mean, you get the creativity of
Patrick
a movie
Houlihan
name
is the
great.
best.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great example. Right there.
Martin says, if we're counting TV shows, he says Shoresy. Fun fact: former Preds draft pick Jonathan Diaby plays him in that show.
That is a
plays
great
himself in that
show.
show.
I met him back when he was drafted. I remember that. He was at one point, people really thought he could turn into a great player. He got to Milwaukee, but he never quite made it to the Preds.
Kevin Costner in Tin Cup.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Can't go wrong there. Spencer James, but that's a true story.
I mean, you have to mention Nuke Lelouch at some point, don't you?
Joe Cooper, Doug Rimmer, and Squeak Scolari from Basketball. What an awful movie.
That was bad. That's a bad movie.
They got ISIS, Bring It On. I did like Bring It On. I'm not going to even trip. I did like Bring It On.
I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
The Great White Hype, boxing legend James the Grim Reaper Roper.
Yeah?
That's a good one. Jerry Seinfeld, fastest runner in his class. You guys are great. These are still coming
$1 Million
through.
Baby.
Yeah. 615-737-1037. 1025. Coming up next, though, we will get to Willy's fantasy questions of the day. We will discuss that.
We got to have our daily dose. We got to be ready for our fantasy drafts. We've had a lot of fun with this. We're going to just have to get back to business. Get ready for our fantasy drafts. I got the 3 questions of the day.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 1025, 1063 The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
and I-840,
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
there's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 1025 The Game.
And he has added players that do fit.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 1063 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have 2 choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 1063 now and add it as a favorite.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. High temperatures today in the lower 90s, just like yesterday. Heat index values in the mid-90s this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening, but no severe weather expected in our forecast going into the weekend.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face truck today.
Harmon Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Harmon Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
It's a fact. Guys hate going to the doctor. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues, men from all over Middle Tennessee have been thrilled seeing Dr. Alderson and their providers at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Men all the way up to 95 years old have jump-started their sex drive and energy levels. Lots of men suffer with ED for years, but now they're able to enjoy sex again. Tom from Nashville said, "The Tennessee Men's Clinic has changed my life. I have been able to be intimate with my wife for the first time in 5 years. She thought this problem was because of her, but the pills never worked for me. I had given up until I went to the clinic and realized there were more options for erectile dysfunction. Now I'm happy and my wife is happy. A visit for only $99, and that includes all testing, including a PSA and testosterone test. Give the guys at the clinic a call at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra, results vary.
If you missed the latest on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Not many people can say that.
Right.
You know, that they are nominated to be in the Hall. Not many people can say that.
What I don't
It's not like you're ahead of one wide receiver.
Exactly.
You're ahead of 10 guys that are in the Hall of Fame. So
Well, what I don't understand, you mentioned the special teams part, is I almost feel like you get punished for that because the Hall of Fame, for whatever reason, doesn't recognize special teams like they should. And that makes no sense to me because, if anything, you should be rewarded for that.
Yeah,
like,
and
that
that's
should
not
help your
factored
case.
into this thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
But I mean, the fact that and what's gonna help that is when you get some true special teams guys that do break through and they finally realize, hey, we need to put these guys in. That's just as important. That's going to help you. But like what you accomplished as a multi-talented, multi-tool player, with special teams and then later as a receiver, I think should help your case.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app. Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Stillman and Company coming up in about 12 minutes or so. Jared, of course, will have a lot to talk about with Ryan Tannehill from today's practice. But right now, our 3 fantasy football questions of the day. Thank you for participating. Texts are still coming through with the fictional athletes, but this has been a lot of fun for sure.
We might have to do a couple wrinkles on this. We might have to pick some teams.
I think
who would win.
We need a bracket of.
We could do a bracket. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can do with this. This has got possibilities now that the characters have been named. The nominees are out there. All right, you guys ready for the fantasy football?
Let's do it.
All right, got to have our dose. Got to get ready for these drafts. Here's the first one. Tight ends. Let's just say, for argument's sake, the top 2 tight ends are, in some order, are Travis Kelce and Mike Andrews, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2. The question is, who's number 3? Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller, George Kittle. Who you guys got? Who would you pick third? Let's say those other 2 guys are off the board. The run is on tight ends, right? There's a run on tight ends. I got to get my guy. Who do you want of those 3? Kyle Pitts,
I know who.
Darren Waller, George Kittle. All right, Chase?
I'm going Waller.
Do you want Waller?
I like Darren Waller in that offense. Think he's worked well with
even with
Derek Carr.
All the other weapons they have.
Yeah.
Are they?
I still think
enough.
I still think he's going to be go to.
Who you got, Derek?
I'm going Kyle Pitts for this reason. I think Marcus is going to look to hit that tight end more than anything because to him that's the surest throw. And Kyle Pitts was a 1,000-yard receiver last year, and I think he will either get to 1,000 or exceed 1,000 because I think the offense will go around him because, again, it's the easiest throw for the quarterback, and he's the most reliable pass catcher you got.
And what else do they have?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like
the opposite of your theory. I would think Kyle Pitts is going to get a lot of attention from defenses, but they've got to go to him a lot. Marcus Mariota has the history of throwing to the tight end pretty well. Those were some great days when he had Delaney Walker back in the day. Seems to be a good fit. But Waller could get better matchups just because there's so many other guys you have to account for with Renfro and Devontae Adams and everybody else they have.
But I think Arthur Smith will make it his priority to push it to the tight end.
So no votes for the man, George Kittle.
I mean, I like Kittles.
I like George Kittle. I'm
Trey
worried about
Lance,
the injuries.
And Trey Lance is in there. How does that work? And
but he can't stay healthy.
We've had him on our team the last couple of years.
I know.
We've had him on the sideline for a few games.
Now, look, George has done a fantastic job being Philip Forsberg's agent.
Big time.
And getting him
so we want
re-signed.
him to have a big year.
Yeah.
He can be on my team anytime. All right, question number 2. Who do you like better as a full-fledged number 1 guy at their position? And they're relatively new to the category, all right? Different positions, but full-fledged number 1. C.D. Lamb as a full-fledged wide receiver number 1, or Najee Harris as a full-fledged running back number 1. These guys are going to be drafted probably within 10, 15 slots of one another, I think. C.D. Lamb's got a lot of momentum right now. He's still very young.
I love him with the Cowboys.
A lot of people think he's going to take another level forward. Najee Harris had a pretty good year last year, and as we know, there is a premium on running backs who are going to get sort of the bulk of the carries. It looks like he's that kind of guy. He's being drafted in the first round in a lot of mock drafts right now. So who do you like better
I'm taking
number
Lamb.
1?
I'm taking Lamb.
Somehow, Chase, I thought you would take Lamb.
Yeah,
You're being with your Cowboy ties. So you like him.
I got the jersey, okay?
Without Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
and their receivers are going down. I mean, they're dropping like flies. Gallup is still not healthy. And their passing suffered when they lost Amari Cooper. Man, that's a tough one because Dallas is going to pass the ball regardless. And he's going to get a lot of opportunities. I'm going to go begrudgingly, I'm going to go with C.D. Lamb.
You take C.D. Lamb?
Yeah.
All right. But do we feel like Najee Harris, in the post-Ben Roethlisberger, maybe some limitations at the quarterback, will he have a big year?
I think he'll still have a big year.
I mean, I think they could rely on him
If he were my first-round pick, I would be a little shaky with that. Some people have him going in the first round of mock draft.
But, let's say this. I'm more confident in Dallas quarterback than I am in Pittsburgh's offensive line and what their quarterback situation is.
Big
in
question
Dak we
marks.
trust.
Yeah.
In Dak we trust. Come on now.
Okay, final question. We've talked a lot about A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Devontae Smith, just an unbelievable college player, of course.
Heisman Trophy winner.
He had his moments last year. He flashed. What will A.J. Brown do for Devontae Smith? That's the question.
What will he do for Devontae Smith?
Will he help Devontae Smith get to another level from a fantasy perspective?
I think a lot of it depends on what Jalen Hurts does to help them both.
Well, that is a big part of the equation for sure. Goes without saying, but
I think it's both ways. I think Devontae will help AJ and AJ will help Devontae. I think because you're not going to be able to say, okay, we're just going to double this guy all the time. Well, you can't single cover Devontae Smith. He's proven that he can get open in this league. Okay, he blazed you for a week, then you got to double team him. You leave AJ single one-on-one, he's going to manhandle you all game. The problem is we hope he plays. It's like, is he going to play? Is he injured?
Yeah.
But I think they both help each other. I think starting off, it will help Devontae Smith because, AJ's the big name guy, big money guy. Teams are going to gear toward him because they think that, okay, this offense is going to be built around A.J. Brown, so they're going to try to take him out. But then Devontae Smith is going to kill you one-on-one. So I think it's going to go back and forth.
Yeah. That's probably the toughest question you've asked.
Yeah, because you don't know until you see it. But so do you think A.J. helps Devontae?
I think on paper, yeah. I mean, I think he's supposed to. But so I'll go, yeah.
Because it hopefully will help the Eagles from their perspective. But the question is from a fantasy perspective.
But it all depends on Hurts, no matter what.
Yeah. I'm really curious because there was so much tied to Devontae Smith coming out of college.
Now, he's a good player.
Yeah.
He has the potential to be a great player. So it's does Hurts take another step in his in that process?
Yep.
And if he does, then it's a win-win for AJ and Devontae.
All right, that's our chapter for today.
Right. I like it. That's
We're
good
getting ready,
stuff.
one day at a time.
We'll be back at Titans training camp on Monday and Derek, I know you're going to be out. You're going to be on vacation for the next couple weeks.
Yes,
but
I'll be gone.
We will be, Willy, out at Titans training camp and get to see what we see and what they accomplish over the weekend as they get ready for the first preseason game next Thursday against the Baltimore Ravens, a team Derek is very familiar with. Of course. Coming up next, it is Stillman and Company. What did Jared and Caroline see out of Ryan Tannehill today? They will discuss that coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, homeowners and home buyers, listen up. Loan Pronto has 30-year fixed rates with APRs in the 4s and 15-year loans with APRs that start with 3. Hey, it's Willy Donick. Don't be confused by the media's hype about interest rates. At Loan Pronto, their rates have plummeted recently, and they're currently refinancing homeowners who locked in a 5 or 6% rate. So if you've got a rate over 5%, or if your lender has you pre-approved or locked in at anything 5% or higher, you need to call Loan Pronto now. Not all lender rates are created equal. Loan Pronto's rates are down big time, and you need to take advantage, whether you are buying, refinancing, getting cash out, or even if you just closed a few weeks ago. Call Loan Pronto today, and you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Loan Pronto can help keep more money in your pocket. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Join 102.5 The Game, Brentwood Fire and Police, the Williamson County Sheriff's Department, and the Nolensville Fire and Rescue for the 9th Annual Williamson County Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, Wednesday, August 17th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Brentwood Library on Concord Road. This year's blood drive will be in memory of Williamson County Deputy Chandler Rowe. Support the 9th Annual Williamson County Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, Wednesday, August 17th, sponsored by B.L. Harbert International. IndyCar is back in downtown Nashville. Single-day tickets for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, August 5th through the 7th, are on sale. Enjoy action-packed racing, huge concerts, cheering fans, and the biggest party of the year. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is a weekend full of entertainment you don't want to miss. Get tickets at MusicCityGP.com.
Midstate Sports fall registration is going on now. Register your child ages 3 through 13 for soccer in East Nashville and Old